Welcome, my connoisseurs of the fight life. Pretty excited today. We got our first guest, the original gangster, Erin Toughill.
Hi, it's Toughill, Erin Toughill.
Oh, see, I already fucked it up.
But that's okay. You don't have to edit it. It's like most people think it's that anyway, so you're fine.
I think the last event I was at with you, they even the announcer might have fucking said
they always do.
They always do. Toughill. Okay.
I think that's just a part of having a tough last name.
That's my last name. Mine's simple, free love.
Yeah.
Lucky you.
All right. So, what got you into fighting?
What got me into fighting? So originally my whole life I was an athlete. I always played sports. Then soccer at 4. I was playing softball, basketball, everything. I grew up in LA, and when I was in high school, it was where I got into a lot of trouble. And I mean, imagine that.
We're seeing recurring themes with fighters.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. But back then, you know, I'm 42. I'll be 43. So this is, you know, a long time ago. And women didn't have the same outlets for fighting that men did. I mean, obviously it's like women box and stuff, but even the UFC, it wasn't even legalized till 2005?
So Dana was like, I can make money out of this.
2005. So even back then, and when I was 15, 16, UFC was happening, I didn't know women did that. I watched it. I was always fighting. I got kicked out of, 5 high schools in 3 years. So 5 high schools. So I was fighting a lot. And I could have gotten a scholarship to Stanford for soccer. I had many opportunities to play collegiate level soccer, and I didn't give a shit, you know, I wanted to party and fight instead, and I'm like, big deal. So I moved down here from LA. I came to Huntington Beach when I was 17, got my own apartment, and I put myself through junior college, started going to OCC, and then around that time when I'm 18 or 19, I started doing jiu-jitsu, LA boxing, which everybody knows. UFC ended up buying them and blah, blah, blah. But there was one original LA boxing. It was in Costa Mesa, which is, do you know where Thomas Ellie's place is now? Do you know him?
It's not familiar?
Yeah.
Location-wise,
it's in Costa Mesa on, it's like the 55 and Newport run parallel with each other.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was the first location of the original LA boxing. So a lot of world champions came out of there. I lived down the street. I walked in one day and I'm like, I want to do this. I want to try this, because it was when cardio kickboxing was big. That's when it started to really pick up. And
know about that.
Yeah.
Soccer mom life.
Yeah. But back then it was like, you know, it was just something new and people were doing it. And
kind of like what Zumba is today.
So maybe.
A little bit more like
that new Phenom.
Yeah. But really that's how it evolved. And I walked into there, I started training, and my coach at the time was Sean McCulley, who he's another old school OG guy. He said, did you ever think about fighting? And I'm like, well, I fight every weekend for free. You know, I'm still getting into fights. I did for a long time. And I never thought that it would turn into what it did. That was a career taking place, like happening. You know, I just started fighting in Japan. Never knew people were even watching it. I mean, it's not like today where people are, I want to be in the movies, I want to get a modeling deal, I want to get an acting deal. That shit's great, and you can parlay it into that because that's the beauty of sports. But people watched it, but we didn't do it because we didn't care about being on TV. We didn't care about, there wasn't modeling jobs, there wasn't acting jobs.
There was no Instagram at the time.
There wasn't Instagram.
You couldn't be an Insta model.
It was...
There wasn't even a UFC.
Like MMA.TV, right? What is that form? It's like it's still pretty big. But anyway, it was that. And so you were crazy. You were insane if you were fighting them because you loved it.
You still have to be crazy insane to fight nowadays for what the pay is.
Sure. But a lot of people now who are in it, they're not authentic. It's like they're trying to get, you know, I'm going to make a living. Really? Okay,
no,
well,
that's a lie.
That's cool if that's why you're getting into it.
What would your guys' opinions be on, like, because obviously I'm 20 and I see a lot of guys who, like, when we grew up, we were like all told like, oh, football, and I'm sure people got the same thing, football, soccer.
The reality is right now, if you're trying to make money in sports, it's very hard.
It's very
and
hard.
especially in fighting, because you're not. People think you're gonna become like Conor McGregor overnight. It's like, no, that's not real. That's not.
This is a numbers game, and it's a very small percentage of people who get into it that are special. Mm-hmm. He's special. Canelo is special. You know, John Jones is special. It's like there's not. I have the guys I like, the women I like, some whatever, but you can tell who is. Mm-hmm. They're special, and they're a different level of fighter. And you look back at McGregor's stuff, and I always liked him too. But I mean, he knew he was going to be a world champion. So he already knew, and he manifested that. He believes in himself so much that he manifested every single thing that he has today, and he worked hard for it. But digressing and going back, where if you want to do this, people aren't doing this in high school because you don't have a chance. What are you going to go to? Penn State for boxing, you know what I mean? It's like we put kids in sports, in team sports, so they have a chance to get an academic scholarship. Mm-hmm. If maybe everyone's not smart enough to get, you know, or sports one, everyone is not smart enough to get an academic one, you can get a sports scholarship. It gives everyone an opportunity to go to school, which I think is a huge.
Sometimes that doesn't always work out well because they just party and flunk out.
Yeah, well,
hey.
What did I do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The same thing, and I just was able
Alex Perez was just recently, UFC fighter Alex Perez was on our Gym Crasher, shout out to them. And
Collins guy,
yeah. Colin Yama. But he was talking about, I got a free ride, but then didn't make much of it because he knew he was going to be a fighter too. Yeah. He's like, he was either that or construction. He's like, I'm okay with that.
But the world always needs ditch diggers. You know?
Well, what would you guys say, like, because a lot of guys, I think in my generation specifically, who are like coming up and like get told like the football route or like all these routes, and then obviously it doesn't pan out, and then they think, now you're seeing almost like this transition, and you see it with Dominic Reyes being like the first successful guy, but of these guys who want to like be like, oh, my football career, my basketball career didn't work out, so let me jump into like boxing or MMA. Like, what would you kind of say are some warnings or some...
I mean, so far that's paying off for a lot of football guys. Matt Mitrione, I think Westbrook. There's quite a few guys from football. Just those awesome athletes.
Those are athletes.
Yeah.
And that's why wrestlers can make a really great transition. You know, wrestling is like the grind. That's a very hard...
DC, Henry Cejudo.
And they do really well.
Gregory Gillespie.
Yeah, Gregory Gillespie.
But they were athletes their whole life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're competitors. They want to compete. I'm like, we're talking about people who haven't done shit in their whole life, and then they see everyone is a fighter, and I want to do that too. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fine. But in the end, you're going to get exposed if you're not in there for an authentic reason. I mean, this is a very deep boxing. People don't die in MMA. Let's get real. It's like maybe there's been one. I don't even know who that was. People die in boxing all the time.
It's mostly due to dehydration.
It's dangerous. I mean, because yes, that's part of it. That's why like the WC is cracking down on certain 30-day weigh-ins. You have to be within 10 pounds. So UFC started doing that now within whatever the percentage was. But you are taking multiple hits to the head. It's like football. It's the same thing. It's the accumulation.
Would you say boxing's worse because of the gloves? MMA, it's just the one sleepy, easy touch button, and then boxing, it's over and over.
Correct. It's the accumulation, and it's not the fight where it usually takes place. It's the training.
Sparring. Thank you so much.
It is time after time after time after getting hit and hit. And so in boxing, we're only what? We're boxing. We're not doing takedowns in this, and obviously I know because I've done MMA, but it is the accumulation of head trauma.
She's making really good points right now.
Time after time, and then there gets to a point where, let's say you are dehydrated or you overtrained or did something, and then you really get one accurate, it's the timing, and people don't think that. It's like, that's why even when you spar, there's a time and a place to do hard sparring. But you train smarter, not harder. It's like, I already know I'm good and I can take a punch.
I already know I can fight.
We're trying to fine line everything. We're trying to
maybe try some new stuff.
We're trying, so this is really imperative for
Tom
people to know.
Cerrone did that. He just started doing MMA grappling and which is too touch because like he already had like 100 fights technically, just not registered because he would go to Thailand with his homies and do kickboxing.
And that's why I love I've trained with many different people. I'm very close with a lot of my coaches and other teams I've trained with over the years. And what I love about McKee, shout out to Antonio, all the guys that come from there, and his son is kicking ass.
Yeah.
And
AJ, he's my favorite to
win.
win.
Was there, and he went to Jackson. But
Team Body Shop, shout out.
Shout out to Team Body Shop. But what I love about McKee, and I've known him a long time on and off as well.
He just fought, what was that, 6 months ago almost?
Yeah.
For Bellator at
they
age
both fought. He's 48, I think, or something. Okay. He's almost 50. Looks great, looks better than guys half his age. But also a lot of that, too, is he trains very smart. So when we're training there, all these guys are killers. You go into that room, it is a tough crowd.
Baby slice.
Scary. Yeah, I train with all of those guys.
And they're very, alpha male, just behemoths.
Yeah. Joey Davis, I've trained with all those guys. Some of them are terrifying. And I'm tough, and I'm just okay, but they work.
There's time and a place.
They work. They don't just work with me because I'm a girl. They work because that's how they're supposed to. You're looking at the longevity of a sport. It's no one gives a crap when you're in here and how good you do. How do you do when it matters? Mm-hmm. And if you're breaking your body down, even if you're 20 or 25, it takes a lot of, it can kill you, so you want to train smart, and that's why...
That's mainly kind of what I want to talk to you about today, just longevity, because Absolutely. I'm actually very just jealous of you, because I don't know if I'll be able to go as long as you. Like you said, you train smart, and I'm an idiot sometimes. I bang it out, and and I tell myself sometimes when it's happening, this isn't good. This is leading to a short life.
That's testosterone, and that's men, and women are like that too. Yeah. That's why,
It's your... I guess it's just your personality, your ego
that
kills you.
It's our ego. But the older you get, and then it's I already fucking know what I can do. There's certain times where I'll grind, and then there's certain times where it's I'm trying to...
my cutoff at the most would be 40, but I would still like to train after I'm 40. I would like to go in. I love going in on Wednesdays at Raw Talent Boxing and get my spar on, doing the sweet science. I don't really like to brawl so much. I just want to move around, hit, have fun. I love boxing.
Learn it. Yeah. And the point of boxing is not to get hit. Yeah. No one remembers the people that they got, yes, it was a great fight, but I got knocked out every fight, I got hit every fight. There's a reason why, yes, I retired for a while because I had personal shit, and we can touch on that. Mm-hmm. But, I've had 29 pro fights.
Wow.
And I did both, right? And I started in 99. Yes, I did a stint of retirement.
Was it MMA first or boxing first?
MMA first, and then boxing came right after that.
And that's kind of funny.
Yeah, and I only did it because it was to supplement my MMA because I was fighting in Japan, and I couldn't go there all the time, so my coach was like, hey, let's start boxing. If I had known now, this is why I give people advice, women especially, if I had known then what I know now, I would have done an amateur career, which I didn't have, right? Which I wish I would have. But once you cross that line and you start doing it, you can't go back. Mm-hmm. A lot still people don't even know that, which is funny to me. They do, amateur MMA. Yeah, they do amateur MMA. Actually, it was the girl that Chelsea fought, who I think she trains with Sub Fighter in another place, but the girl that my girl fought, not this fight, but the last one.
And what's your girl's name?
Chelsea Anderson. So Josh was in her corner.
Josh Schmidt?
No.
Josh.
Why can't I think of his last name? Josh Jones.
Oh, so Sub Fighter Lakewood.
Yes.
Tracy Smith is Sub Fighter.
So yes, he trains with Tracy. But anyway, the girl who she fought, she wanted to do boxing. All right.
She went right into pro.
She never had. Yeah. She trained for a year, and her stupid boyfriend, who's not even worth talking about. I mean, you don't understand this. When you're putting somebody in there against a girl,
we like transparent guests on Fight Life Connoisseurs. Transparency, I love it.
I don't give a shit. Yes. What are you going to do? Beat me up? It's no, I don't care. I'm talking the truth. When you go in there and you're in boxing, understand this. You're putting your life on the line. And he went in there, threw his girlfriend in against our person, who'd been doing that for years.
And now
she beat her ass. Okay, that's fine.
She was 2-0 at the time, and now she's 3-0.
She was 1-0, then she went to 2-0 on that fight, knocked her out, and then she went to 3-0.
That was her second fight, and she knocked her out.
And stopped her in less than a minute. But, so, Josh trains with me at McKee's, too. So, they all train together, and we, we're all friends or whatever. But when, the boyfriend had a big issue, it was stopped early. Stopped early, the ref saved her. It was very clear that she had no business being in there. It takes a lot of guts to step in that ring.
What round was that?
The first round in like 49 seconds.
And that would have been a 4-rounder because there's
4-rounder.
You want to explain that to the viewers because a lot of people don't understand the number of rounds as you go.
Okay, so yeah, exactly. So when you're first starting in boxing, and this is, whether you've had 100 amateur fights, except for like Loma when he went in, he had a title fight his first shot.
But that's different
which
story.
is he's special. Those
he
are called
was an Olympian before.
Right. So he had 350 amateur fights. Okay.
When you go from Olympics to pro, aren't you already like in your weight class, like top 5 or top 10 ranked?
No. You could be in the Olympics, but when you come in, you're ranked. You can't if you've never had a fight.
Different politics.
So when Loma came in, they gave him a title shot for his first fight, and then that's how that goes. But you work your way up, and so we start 4 rounds, and then you go to 6s, and then you go to 8, 10, and women don't do 12, but we do 10 rounds.
So I didn't even know that. So
and then the women's, we have 2-minute rounds because they always said women can't.
This seems really sexist.
Well, it is, because boxing is like that. Boxing is still very
boxing.
Even now.
Yes.
Fuck.
People don't understand. Okay,
I'm so glad.
This is a very old school sport. These guys have been around forever. So MMA is just starting to cross over into boxing, where PBC is using boxers now.
I don't think there's going to be a women's MMA fighter crossing over to boxing like McGregor did. I don't see that happening for a while.
No.
Those are two.
They think they can.
Oh, hell no. I think that's how you do get a death.
They think they can.
That is an interesting question though. It's how many do you MMA fighters? Because obviously most MMA fighters go to a boxing gym. They box and practice, but how many do you think could actually legitimately make that jump?
Fight a top 10 person.
Maybe not necessarily top 10, but at least
even top 20.
Yeah, just make a decent run, just an okay run.
Let's say through every single weight class. I mean, I could probably count on 2 hands. Legitimately. Now McGregor, that's why he is special. There's no MMA guy. There's no MMA guy. Yeah, let's emphasize that word special. It's there's no MMA guy that could come in. I don't care if Mayweather isn't in his prime. He's fucking amazing. And he went in, and even though he got beat, he went 10 rounds. He did a lot of, I love the fight.
Made Mayweather go back to pretty boy days, because Mayweather in his later career was
Money Mayweather.
Yeah, Money Mayweather, which was all defense, Philly shell, and just not getting hit like you said earlier. In his younger Pretty Boy Floyd days, that was the explosive Floyd. Yeah. That was knocking people out. And then he switched. He's like, hey, I'm in there for the long
run.
haul.
That's why he is 42 and he can still speak full sentences. And he's, right? I mean, if you...
And he's like...
he's a billionaire.
Money he spent. He owns a lot of strip clubs. He owns Vegas.
Right, but there's a reason, It's because he's not getting hit. And people might I love boxing and I'm a big fan of his. I can see what he does. I know what he's doing. And it's not fan favorite because people don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy is
it's like John Jones now.
Unbelievable.
Floyd and John are in their careers right now because John did the same thing. It was Bone Jones, kind of like Pretty Boy Floyd, where he was spinning elbow, knocking him out. Now he's winning decisions. Yeah.
But he's a defensive counterpuncher. Yeah. And he's able to fight like he still does because he stopped taking punishment, and he trains smart. He knows.
Yep.
So that's why you get guys that are 30 in MMA and boxing that can't even speak anymore. They have Parkinson's. They have signs of dementia. It's I see it all the time. and people, it's funny until it happens, right?
Just make peace with that bullet for your love.
Yeah, like I said.
Make peace with it, buddy.
Well, I gave my significant other, I'll give her the time to pull the plug. Anytime she can be like, hey, you're done.
Yeah, right.
It's time to settle down. Go back to high school teaching.
I don't know. Just use some common sense.
I think we can go back to episode 3 and we got some signs for your CT.
What was the name? What are they talking about again? Fuck it.
Oh, shit.
Maybe it might have been too much Medela time foo. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It was a dry episode.
So recently you're training at Bobby's Boxing, right?
Uh-huh.
What do you look for in a gym? The atmosphere. What makes you want to stay and what makes you want to leave?
Oh, those are good questions. Obviously camaraderie is a huge thing, right? We want to make sure that it's you guys it's family,
Yep.
and you feel comfortable
Preaching to the
walking
choir.
in there, right? Because this is an autonomous sport. These are one-person sports, not a team sport, but it takes a team of you guys to get in there, right? It takes the whole team to help everyone.
Team training, individual performance.
Yeah.
You hear that?
You can't do it without the team.
Yeah. You hear that a lot with veterans, so like military guys.
The same.
It's like
the guy has your back. Don't you want him to go
Yeah.
into war and you know that if something happens and you can't see this guy's going to kill you for him? You like, have my back.
Yeah, so you see that a lot when they separate from the military and they're like, oh, I miss the camaraderie. I'm like, well, find you a gym. And a lot of guys, I hear this all the time, jiu-jitsu saved my life. I'm like, well no shit.
Because it's the camaraderie. People miss that, in the family.
For real, jiu-jitsu legitimately.
It does.
I'm a
Boxing,
person
all of
who
it
jiu-jitsu
does.
saved my life.
Sports,
So.
Whatever. You could have found a boxing gym and the same difference. And obviously the one thing, I don't like the cool, I'm a cool guy. I don't like that gym where it's like, we're cool, we're better than you.
Oh, that's what
That's a
you're
lot of like the cool guy fucking vibe, right? And I mean,
The Instagram fighters?
I don't know, because there's guys that have, they're more famous and they're like that too.
Yeah, but there's the people that are like, I'll go to 24-hour fitness, I'll post all these cool pictures. How many fights you got? What's your record? Like 0-8?
Sure, well,
they're out there.
of course they're out
I'm like, you're delusional, bro.
Of course they're out there.
I mean, there's always going to be cloud chasers in everything.
In anything.
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 Way to go,
And this is
Youngblood.
what's
Youngblood
in,
calling it out.
And this is what's in right now, so that's always going to be, everybody wants to be a fighter.
Yeah, but
Everybody
until
wants
they
to,
see
they
the
love it.
cost of what it takes, though, it's like you can even see it in like just in my like kind of when you're training up here, like you can see it just walking into here. You can see the sacrifices people take, and it's no joke.
Real
Like,
sacrifices.
I do love seeing people change though in a gym. So training does humble you. Boxing, jiu-jitsu humbles you. Getting tapped out, getting dropped. So when I first started training here, and it's kind of funny because I go for the liver with my body kick. Like I drop people all the time with that.
That's your thing.
Yep. guess what I got dropped by over and over again? A body kick.
What?
Liver shot. Make me jab up high.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I got dropped with a liver shot, and like I'd rather get knocked out than get hit with the liver.
Getting hit to the body is way worse, But I mean, going back to that, it's you just want to find somewhere that's comfortable for you, and that's subjective. I mean, what works for people here.
Everybody's different.
Yeah, everyone's different. So, if there's somebody looking to go to a gym, go to a couple different ones. You can get referrals, but just go in and...
I think I'm your typical dude
circumnavigate
that just
and
jumps
see.
right in because, there's those people that are like, they don't even look for the other options. They just, first thing, it was kind of like me. This place was home right away.
And
Yeah.
Or you get like a lot where it's like my situation where I basically had a friend who, and I still think he could probably do really well, but he basically he was a high school wrestler, went to CAF, was really good, said he was going to train.
California wrestling is just crazy because it's all just one. Where I'm from in Illinois, we had, 3A to 1A. 1A is like your rural school where I'm from. 3A was like Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
California, like you're the king of Cali.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, I've met some serious wrestlers.
They're going on right now.
So what happened with your guy?
So he basically, he said, he was like, oh yeah, I want to get training, I want to do this, had all these plans. Said he's like, oh, I'm going to be world champion. Has probably the physical abilities to do everything.
Kind of like an Erin Toughill. Yeah.
Yeah, but basically, and he's like, I had trained.
Well, yet again, Erin Toughill is actually special.
LA boxing actually, that's where I kind of got my start. So I kind of fallen out of it and just kind of wanted to get back into it right when I started college. So I come here and I'm just like, oh, you gonna start training? Kind of missed him. He basically got uncommitted, got a girlfriend, stopped fighting and everything, and then I came in and just found a love for this stuff.
Outside
because
life.
people get burned out too, you know what I mean? It's like when you've been doing it, like let's say like Aaron Pico, that guy's been since he was 4 years old at the highest level. And he's early 20s now, and it's
Golden
like...
gloves and boxing.
Yeah.
Everybody just focuses on the wrestling, but he's also that left hook.
But and that's why people then, when you get out of college, you're burned out. Because your body, you're maxed out. And this is another thing in sports people don't understand.
Overtraining.
There's nothing more you can do. You're not going to get any better. You're not going to get any leaner.
I think Michael Bisping hits that up a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of let's go back to that concept of overtraining, like, because you kind of touched on it a little bit. So
I do that a lot.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Obviously, if you're like somebody who's saying like, who's me, who's like only 1 year in, is still trying to find that happy medium. How do you kind of find that happy medium between pushing yourself the right amount and then not?
I think that comes, first of all, it's your coach.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a really good coach that's watching over you. And trust me, I've had amazing ones, and I've had shitty ones too. And that's key because, we're looking at him or her to tell me what I need to do. What am I doing wrong? Coaching me properly. If they see me, a lot of our stuff too, because when we're young, it's very ego driven too, right? So it's like, I'm tired, but I'm going to keep training. I'm this. So it's really, the coaches and the staff is huge because they're looking out for you when you can't look out for yourself. And even the level I'm at, I need a coach. That's why I don't go into a fight.
Save you because every fighter has a mentality like,
yeah,
I'll fight that heavyweight. Yeah, I'll fight that heavyweight.
Too, where I'm like,
you need someone, a manager or a coach to be like, whoa, killer.
Somebody pull you out. But again,
you need somebody to protect you from yourself.
Correct.
It's your ego. It goes back to your ego.
Right. And then the second part is that comes with experience and age. And I've been doing this more than half my life. And I know my body. And I know the difference when I'm being lazy, when I'm tired, or when I'm fatigued.
That's a good point.
Right? There's levels to this sport. And unless you've been an athlete your whole life and you've been at a high level of training, you might not know your body. And so those are just experiences that you have to go through yourself. And, because my threshold and your threshold could be completely different than yours, right? We could all do the same thing, but I feel this, you feel this, you feel that. And that's a hard thing. It's so subjective. So
that's how you train too. Because there's guys like Kamaru Usman can't run because he has like no knees.
Sure.
So he just hits a bag all the time. And there's different training regimes. It all goes back to your ego. So with overtraining, I'm gonna give a shout out to RVCA and Jason Perillo.
Mm-hmm.
So Mike Bisbee again talked about overtraining a lot. And it's kind of like an insecurity, like your ego, like,
of course.
I have to, like, it's usually when you have a fight coming up. You're like, I gotta train, I gotta beat this guy, I gotta work harder than him. But then you overtrain. And then you even had that with Chris Cyborg. She's like, I don't think we should take this fight on short notice. And Jason's like, why? When do you ever take a break? When do you ever take a break, Chris? You're ready to go all the time, you train all the time, just let's go.
Right.
And Mike Bisbee actually won his title on short notice.
Sure.
And his biggest problem was always that, I'd actually probably would have won more fights if I just didn't overtrain.
Yeah. And that's what separates the champions as well from everyone else because we have a different mindset, and it's like,
I mean, that's also too. It kind of goes hand in hand, and this is the one thing I also want to ask you is like, obviously one of the biggest things we hear about is like in MMA and any of this is like the injuries don't necessarily come from the performance of the fights, but they come. Like, isn't it like 89 or 90% of them come from training? Just training.
Yeah, anytime I've ever gotten injured, I've had a couple, in fights, but 85 to 90% of any of the injuries I had were from sparring, training, grinding,
My
hustling,
knee is still fucked up
running,
on Friday.
getting slammed. It's not the fight. The fight lasts, whatever. Mm-hmm. It's the accumulation, just like the punches, just like anything. So it's the same thing.
So it's basically like, the advice you'd say that's like the best thing to do is just basically find your cap where you're overtraining and just stop every time you hit it, or...
No, because I know when I am, but you might not know when you're in. Again, it's not about it's find a good team, find a good coach, somebody that can watch.
That ominous view, like God, like a third point comparison. So you might not see it because you have tunnel vision, so you need someone else, different perspective, a different outlook. That's usually a coach.
That's why that's why we have coaches,
What do you think, in boxing, and you've kind of seen this in MMA, so there's guys like had never actually really fought before, so we can say like a John Crouch. He's got like a black belt, MMA lab. Mm-hmm. He's got a black belt, but he's never fought in the cage before. And they're still out there. A lot of fighters are like coaches, so we have like Matt Brown from ATT, Matt Hume, Mighty Mouse coach up in Washington. But what do you think about, do you feel comfortable with your coach being an actual fighter or not? Because in boxing, there are actually a lot of great coaches were not boxers. Customato, Mike Tyson coach. CT said again. This is a joke. Robert Durant. So there was a movie about it called Hand of Stone, and De Niro played his coach.
Yeah.
Ars? Or what was his name? Alan. But he was also, yet again...
But I know what you're getting at.
Yeah.
So the only... It would be, what does history tell me? I would go to somebody who had a history to prove whatever their record was. You know what I mean?
So if they weren't a fighter, if they coached a lot of world champions?
Yes,
okay.
Of course. Then that would...
Ray Arcel.
Ray Arcel, thank you.
Yeah.
Young Bloods in the day.
But nothing now. It's like I know anybody who, you know, if I was going to MMA coach or something, they'd have to show me.
Yeah.
You know, show me. Have you done that? Can you do that?
I feel comfortable when both my coaches, both my cornermen, every cornerman I have, they're not my coaches, they're my teammates, and they fought. So my boxing coach, Shuey Gutierrez, boxer, professional boxer. Adam Lynn, OG, MMA fighter, especially back in the day.
Hey, you want to know somebody, do you know what I'm going through?
Yes.
When I'm in there?
Yes.
Can you feel what I'm feeling? Can you see what I'm seeing? When I'm breathing this way, can you identify what that is? When I'm not present and lucid, how are you going to bring me back? Is it good? Should you pull me out of the fight? Again, these, you know what I mean? This is like health concerns and winning. I want to win when I go in there. I'm not going in there to fucking lose, you know? And my team is important. And they need to know what I'm capable of. And, okay, if I can't do this, tell me what I need. What's plan A? If that doesn't work, what's B? What's C? You know? So, like, when I have high-level people, there's things that I can handle myself. If I had a certain, I won't touch on that today, but there's certain people, if I had a certain fight, that I would train with a certain person. You know what I mean? Because there's levels to this.
Are you talking about styles?
No. I'm not even saying boxing or MMA. I'm just saying in particular, if there was because I'm not going to say either, but if there was a specific fight that I was going to get that was high level.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right? There's a certain coach that I would pick for that one. And people do that as well. You know, that's why they go out and seek in boxing. Okay, you've come this far with this person. But now there's levels to this, and we're going to fight this fucking person. I need somebody who's had 20 fucking world champions, who's been in that corner before, who's been at the... Does that make sense?
Yes.
Kind of, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, so...
I guess a critic or an asshole would be like, well, why don't you do that for every fight?
Because they're all different.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
There's levels. Boxing is different than MMA, so I guess I'm really referring to boxing. I think it's different. So
someone needs to show what Erin just said, that whole clip to Stephen A. Smith, but
I didn't see that what he said, but I heard a little bit.
Just talking shit on Cowboy, like he quit.
Just like what he typically does of like, you know, his whole like, which is basically shit on athletes to create controversy to make that whole clout chase.
Well, they like him because he's a good outspoken person.
He's a talking head, but for MMA it doesn't work. You can't.
Yeah, even the higher ups like Dana and Joe Rogan, that's why they criticize him.
I saw something that
because they respect people. Like you respect the guy that goes out on their shield. Like it's this hard thing whatever you do out there. So
see the mitt work though.
I saw that.
The dick punch.
But you know the sport. It's like that's sports, and you need people like that. You think like most of the people who are writers, you know, I mean, they've never stepped on the field for football. They've never shot anything.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. It's always been like that. You know?
I feel like, though, that's like the best journalists or the best MMA or the best, just the people who cover the sport are the ones who actually train or have been around since the jump. Like,
we'll go dive into that a little bit more. What do you think about...
I should start doing that.
What do you think about, so like, you know, the side jobs besides being fighting, we have coaching, but we also have judging, refereeing, promoters. Mm-hmm. Do you think they should be fighters? Not so much.
Do I think they should be?
Or have a background in that? So we're seeing that a lot of controversy with the judging because a lot of just uneducated people, referees.
I mean, you'd like to think, but it's like, you know, now most of the people who are, you know, because boxing's been sanctioned for many, 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 many years before MMA, and they started wanting to sanction it because they want the money, right? I remember I went to the first sanctioning one. They did like workshops. So if you were going to have, even though I was already doing boxing.
Did you ever fight on a reservation? Because, okay, history note for people that don't know, for California,
I did.
illegal.
PFC. I fought for PFC several times. That was where WEC was there too. Mm-hmm. And then one of my last fights before I retired, which I lost, it was my first legitimate loss in MMA, was on an Indian reservation. And there was a couple big names on that, but So MMA, boxing came in because they could make money off it.
Yeah. Well, it's just like John McCain, he was criticizing it, and if you didn't know, he was sponsored by, he had some connections with Budweiser's and stock, which was backing boxing. Then Budweiser started sponsoring MMA and UFC. Then John McCain kind of went quiet.
I didn't even hear any of that.
If you look into that, like, it kind of makes sense. You're like, oh, McCain just changed his mind. But then they, like Dana White and a lot of people credit John McCain for changing the sport. He criticized it because it was a cockfighting, like UFC 1.
Yeah.
But then they started getting gloves, weight classes, and then
it
looked less cockfightish.
You know.
But back to the question I'm actually just promoters. I'd like to see more fighters. So Ray Sifu, I don't know if you've heard of him, PFL.
Ray used to train me when I lived in...
You're just an OG.
So I used to be married... Do you know who Neil Melanson is?
Kind of
She's a catch wrestler.
Yeah.
Catch wrestling, OGs.
Big guy. Anyway, I used to be married to him, and we lived in Las Vegas. This is about 10 years ago. We trained at Extreme Couture. He trained Randy. He trained Vidor.
That makes sense because Ray was at Extreme Couture, right?
And I think he still is. But anyway,
yeah, he's still in Vegas.
I don't talk to Ray, but
too.
Yeah, all those guys. So my ex-husband, that's a scary man. That's somebody I wouldn't want to fight. And he used to be a fan. He was federal air marshal, and he did terrorist training. He did border patrol, like in Juarez. He's crazy.
Hard motherfucker. Is what you're saying.
Yes, and we're still friends. But I always speak very, very highly of him, and he does the same. You know, we had a very amicable split, but he's really he's badass. But yeah, so that's when I trained with Ray a little bit when I was out there, and so of course he knows how fighting is, and he's a great promoter. But
he's the only one doing salary right now.
Yeah, right.
Which was like IFL, but IFL went down the toilet.
Who I'm trying to fight actually before I retire is Kayla Harrison. So I did.
What? My God! Set it up, Ray.
Ray now.
My comes exclusive breaking here.
So,
dude, that would be awesome at 155.
55.
Because they made a division just for her.
I know. That's why.
Oh my God.
I can't do 45. It's very difficult. I made 45 once, and it was fucking brutal. It was brutal. I'm 168 pounds.
You're my
right
favorite out of because the last division was her and Pacheco.
Yeah.
And she just mopped the floor with the whole division.
Yeah.
I think you're different. You're different style.
I know.
Ooh.
Styles make fights, right? It's like,
hey, you're a great grappler, judo.
Yeah.
Take this boxing.
You want this, right?
Oh my God, I want that fight.
So I call
take my money, Ray. Take it.
And with all respect, because actually, I don't know Kayla personally. I think she's pretty awesome.
She's a gold medalist. She's Rousey 2.0.
She's badass.
She technically beat Rousey. She even she self-claimed that
in judo.
Not in judo, but in terms of ranking as the greatest female Olympians, she beats them because she has two.
But Rousey was a bronze medalist, right?
Rousey,
so she got 2 golds, I think. But anyway, in her own right, she's a badass.
Different weight classes probably because Kayla's way bigger.
All right. But gold and bronze are big.
And then also too, because if you want to go back into that weight, what's it kind of like? Because you were literally started your fighting career before there was barely even any women's weight classes. So what was it like?
I did open weight. I did in Japan. I fought 3 times in one night.
For our viewers, this is the literally I keep saying it, the original gangster. So
yeah. So I had my
women's MMA.
Listen to this. This is how old school. Okay. So in '99, listen to this. 1999, I had my first fight. Okay? I'd been training, 6 months or 8 months. Okay. Heath Herring fought on this card. Gilbert Eichel fought on this card. I want to say Overeem was on this card. But
in Japan.
Aruba.
Okay.
This was fucking no rules. Okay? So actually,
no rules
actually the women, we had the option of not wearing gloves.
Bare knuckle.
Okay.
It's like some left Y MMA.
And my coach at the time, Sean, was like, no, you're pretty. We're not going to do that. Okay.
That could just save the day.
I was fighting, do you know, he fought in Pride a bunch of times, Bob Schreiber.
Yeah.
Okay. I fought his wife, Irma Verhoeff, who had she was, okay, so
that sounds like the chick from Dodgeball.
So she looked like Dolph Lundgren with red lipstick.
Okay, so they got
to this day. Okay. So she was, I'm 21, barely training, still kind of, and she's a grown woman. She's 35 or a grown woman. We had one 15-minute round. a 15-minute round. And the men were fighting 1 30-minute round. That's what old school is. So even some of the
that
guys...
beats Pride with the 10-5-5.
Something like that. Yeah, 10, 5, and 5. Yeah, 1 15-minute round.
And then they have 130? Holy fuck. That's cockfighting.
Okay. And then
John
that
McCain could
was
roll into the grave.
tournament style. So the guy who won, I forget who won it, but then then they fought again. And it
the same night?
Yes.
Holy fuck.
And so I only fought one time, but I mean a 15-minute round, and I got a draw on that fight. And then I went to Japan, and I fought 3 times in one night. I knocked out one girl. I knocked out Marloes. I'm the only other girl to knock out Marloes.
Conan?
Yes.
Okay.
But
the fight before that, it's probably not even registered, probably, is it?
No, it's registered. It's on my
Wikipedia.
Oh,
sweet.
Just to give people also like a time frame.
1:30. We gotta look at.
Yeah, they can look it up. It's all on Wikipedia. So
viewers, please check that out and verify so you can visually see 1:30, 1:15-minute round.
1:50. And I mean, I'm dying. I didn't know. Like, I don't have any concept of what. And this is what we talk about. Coaches, killer. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I'm an athlete, and I'm thinking all badass.
I'm just here to fuck shit up.
I'm just here to fuck shit up and get paid. Okay, I got paid $1,000. This is
at the time was
which is a lot of money. There's people getting paid $1,000 now. Yes. So I got a free trip to Aruba. I fought. We drank. It was awesome. And I mean that was the one great part about fighting was we traveled and I went to Pride. I had an awesome, amazing fun time.
That's what I want to do, basically. There it is. I'm envious. I think.
So what? The top right.
She is.
Yeah, she's gnarly.
I'll show you.
But anyway,
there's those journeyman kind of fighters that are never going to get a belt in the bigger leagues, but I think it's a real accomplishment when you travel the world and fight people. Yeah. It's just like look what you did. I went to Asia. I went to everywhere.
Yes. That's cool.
And to make a little timestamp or time reference, I was born in 1999. So Erin made her MMA debut the year I was born.
I'm glad Erin's so open about time length because I wasn't going to ask her age because I didn't want to get punched in the face.
Oh, man. I don't look 42. I mean...
Yet again, envious longevity.
Part of it is good genes, but I mean, it's like, yeah.
I think
how old are you?
I mean, there's that nature versus nurture comparison, but I think you proved it with the nurturing, just training smart and just...
You train smart, and don't get me wrong. I mean, I did a lot of...
dumb shit, but you
overcome
it with some.
And now, a lot of it is like I keep, very
You learn from the dumb shit.
Of course. Hopefully you do.
Some people don't learn from the dumb shit, and they keep repeating.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same dumbass thing over and over?
Over and over, expecting a different result.
So, I think that's the
thing. And that's true. And a lot of people, the other thing is, your circumstances are due to the choices you make. That's a hard one for people to get. No, you're in the situation because you decided to do that. No one else. But anyway. So, yeah. And I did both sports at a high level. I'm the first and only woman to be ranked in top 5 in both sports at the same time. That's pretty fucking cool. I fought Laila. I fought Joe Frazier's daughter. I fought...
Oh, Laila.
She beat me, but I fought for a WBC title. I mean, I've done some pretty rad shit. So when I came back, it was just for me. I fought for a different reason, too. It wasn't I didn't care about what anybody thought. But I was very concerned when I was in my 20s. What people thought about me.
For the ratio of money or just pride. So there's a guy like...
Pride.
Or not, or reputation, or just honor, I guess.
Yeah.
So there's a guy like Habib. Habib really doesn't care about money.
No.
He's there. He's 26-0 or 28-0 now, right? Or is it 26?
Something, I don't know.
Quote me on that
he's
later.
Undefeated.
He fights more, and then there's guys in it for money. Like Conor has money now. Now he's kind of fighting for the record or the legend. He's trying to make the favor. Yeah. But then there's guys just trying to make some money.
Which is smart too, because when you're again reiterating this, if you're going into this to there's a very small...
more about money or pride? Pride. And now you're more about
28
legacy?
Yeah, because I was very prideful.
The Kayla Harrison would be a great feather in the cap.
I would love that fight. And kind of not trying to jump around too much, but now, let me say, how old are you?
28.
Okay, so I was at my peak when I was his age, right?
I started late, something like that.
But
Max Holloway's the champion at 28.
Right, exactly.
I'm like, fuck, I'm just now getting started.
Yeah, it's okay though, it's like...
There's a lot of people that say a quote that are fighting longer now, they're happy because they started later.
Yeah. You could be 28 and washed up and like burned out.
I actually, they say 25 is the age you like start becoming self-aware, like your brain starts like...
Well, that's when your brain is fully formed.
Yeah. So you become self-aware.
Fucking self-aware at that
Well, you
age.
start to become self-aware. But I think if I would have started like a Max Holloway at 17, 18, I would have been that dumbass that would have kept doing the wrong thing
You
over
never
and
know.
over.
These are all woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda, nana.
I mean, you could have been a world-class soccer athlete, but here you are. The different paths you take.
But I could have gone to college for that, and I could have died. You know what I mean? It's like, we talked about this yesterday. It was like, could I have a very storied NCAA one? I don't know. I didn't think I'd be in the right now talking to you, but here we are. Right? It's like, we don't know. And I mean, just, if you're here, fucking take advantage of it. It's like, I don't know what would have happened. I could have go play soccer there and not even
roll with
here.
the punches.
Yeah, you just.
That's a great saying in boxing that applies to life. Roll with the punches.
Very profound. Love that statement.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
Free Love CT Khabib is 28 now.
Okay.
So even more than we thought.
28 now. Yeah.
But yeah,
please let Tony versus Khabib happen in MMA draws, please.
Yeah. But so when I'm fighting now, like in boxing, I'm not making money. I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing it because I love it. And it's for me. I don't give a shit what anyone thinks. I came off after a 12-year layoff and beat Mari. Mm-hmm. Her name is Maricela Cornejo. She was top 3. And then the one where you saw me, I lost to Racquel. I'd sparred with her before.
And she, after that fight, went even up further.
Yeah. So I'm ranked, I think I'm still ranked number 9 or something.
Do you think she could beat like the GOAT?
Racquel? I think Racquel's awesome, and I've sparred with her, and I talk to her now and then. And
you guys seem really like cordial.
No, we're fucking cool. It's like neither of us got paid for that fight.
I
wanted to test myself. She was like, look, if she came into MMA, but I went in there. It's like she has 60 or 70 amateur fights.
I was really excited when that fight happened. I was like, Roy, way to go! Shout out to Roy.
I wanted to fight, and that's what I do. But it's like, then why am I doing this? And even this last girl I fought on the Showtime card, I'm B-side. Am I going to beat her? It's like, but so I should be 2-1 and I'm 0-3. Racquel legitimately beat me. I could have finished that fight. She dropped me, but I was like, and that was the next day when...
Using your head.
Yeah, but I mean, that's...
Smarter.
Who knows? I didn't stop. I wanted to keep going. We had one more round, and then the ref was like, whatever. It could save me from something. Is my pride and my ego fucking hurt? Yes, because even if I lost... I had some good rounds, and who knows, there's still a round left. That's why fighting is amazing. I could have come back, coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I can always say that I've gone in there and fought the best people, and I'm not scared to fight anyone. Kayla, I'm not scared of her. Her strength and conditioning coach was my strength and conditioning coach.
Small world.
When I lived in Miami. When he trained, and it's not a call out, but it's like, there's no people, fight me.
I think she would be down.
I think she would.
I'm just getting that
Jeremy,
channel of communication.
She knows because I called her out and I tagged her.
Nice.
And I talked to anybody who's Mike Brown knows who I am.
It would be Ray. Probably Ray would be the one.
Right, and Ray knows, but it's like, let styles make fights. I'm a big woman.
Take my fucking money, Ray, please.
And with all due respect to Kayla, I could beat her. I don't want to get thrown by her by any means, but it's like,
Stylistically, there's a game plan.
Stylistically, it's a good fight. I think it would be a fun fight. A lot of people still know me in MMA, and I think they'd like to see that fight. I'm not scared of her. Give me a fucking fight.
She's just a woman at the end of the day.
Because not many women wouldn't even bump up to 145 to fight Cyborg, let alone bump up to 155 to fight her.
She even says she won't fight Amanda. But then again, they're teammates, so...
Yeah, they train, right? So they all train.
Oh, ATT, you're right.
Yeah, they're ATT.
But they're different, you know what I mean? It's like, Kayla's big. She couldn't make... Who knows? Could she make 145? I don't know if she could.
I don't think so. They made a weight
I don't
class
think so.
for
They
her.
made one for her.
She even explicitly said that in interviews.
Ever since I saw Aldo make 135, I'm like, anything's possible.
Yeah, anything's possible, but do you want to do that? Is it smart to do that? And that's why we think about, it's like, she makes good money, and so when we talk about making money, this is a good fight for me, a fun fight, and I could make money. I would get a nice payday with that.
$1 million.
Yeah.
You gotta go through the tournament. But
who knows? They
the
can give me
regular
a
season,
single autonomous fight. Who says?
and you're getting paid salary.
I don't have a career. Like, my career's over. I had my career. I'm 42 years old. I don't have 10 more years. I'm doing this for fun and because I can beat these girls. And
How many fights in a regular season for PFL? Because they do like NFL format. They do a regular season playoffs. I love the format.
It's cool.
Because Ray Cooper the third. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yes.
He just won this year. He lost last year to one of the Dagestanis. The Dagestani crew is just overwhelming. So he lost to John Dukes at Howard in the regular season. Got knocked out by John Dukes at Howard.
Okay.
So you think it's over, right?
Yeah.
But he still qualified for playoffs with other wins.
Right. So they do something like that, right? So
John Dukes Howard lost to the guy that Ray Cooper III beat in the finals to win the $1 million. So it's like the Cinderella story. Like, I got knocked out in the regular season.
Right. Because that happened with like that Kayla girl, right? Because that Pacheco chick or somebody lost and then she fought her again.
Yeah.
Right?
But Kayla still was undefeated the whole time.
Still.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she fought. I was like, I've never looked at my record. I've like never fought easy people. Like even in my boxing, my losses, they're not to fucking scrubs.
They're fucking Laila or Racquel.
Right, they are world champions. Team USA.
What's up, Adam?
I was going to break down the format of PFL.
Yeah, how many fights? How many fights in a regular season?
So basically,
if you go all the way and win the belt.
If you go all the way, or if you're just the fight you're guaranteed.
Playoffs, and then you win the final
so
for the $1 billion in the belt.
Basically, this is like the overall format view. I'll just break it down. The 2019 PFL season will consist of 10 events, 6 regular season events, 3 playoff events, and 1 world championship. There will be 6 PFL weight divisions. Fighters will be scheduled
So that would be 10 fights.
Regular season
6,
fights,
3, and 1.
Each consisting of 3 5-minute rounds. Fighters will earn points during the regular season based on their performance and will be ranked in division standings.
If you go into PFL, you're fighting 10 fights in a year,
Mm-hmm.
but you're at 155.
Which is feasible, but there's not, it's like, who's the other girl who came up? She fought at 35 and she came up in weight.
I believe I might be wrong that it's not 10 fights because
it's not 10 fights.
I don't know what it is.
It's events, so you wouldn't fight on every event they have.
Oh, I see.
So basically, you're guaranteed 2 fights. You have your 2 playoff fights, and then you have your world championship.
So 5 fights.
So it's about like
potentially.
5 or 6. Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
5 fights.
But what was the other girl who fought on PFL that used to fight at 35? She fought when I fought too.
Versus Kayla Harrison just now, or
No.
Kaufman.
Yes.
Yep.
So she fought.
CTE.
She fought when I fought too, and
Sarah
she
Kaufman.
fought at 135, and she came up
She
with
was the
55.
Invicta champion, I believe so.
But Roxy, who's she's still fighting. Like she fought on a card in Japan when I fought. She's been around a long time.
Monteferi, yeah.
Yeah.
She's been pretty smart. I mean, she was a grappler, so she never really banged it out. But now she's with Bigwood. Her striking improved. She just took out Macy Barber. We talked about that.
You're wrong. She was the Invicta bantamweight champion.
Yeah, 135.
So 135.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were saying 125, 235.
No. She's always been at 135, so when she fought at UFC...
But I mean, that shows it's like, okay, we already know there's more small women than there are bigger women.
Well,
but it's like, PFL needs a 55er. They need one girl to come in
I believe
smash.
Kaufman was also a Strikeforce 135.
Is she fought in Strikeforce too?
That was the first promotion for women's, because then Dana saw that and went UFC.
Yes.
Because I got signed to them. And I had a big contract.
Women's MMA could have started out before Ronda and the UFC. All Dana had to do was say yes earlier, and you could have maybe made that. You could have been in Fast and Furious.
Actually, Dana offered me, and Chris knows this. So this was when Cyborg fought at the Honda Center. This is several years ago, and she ended up fighting.
Oh, short notice. The down house in Texas. What's her name? She kind of.
But this was when I was contemplating about coming back, and Dana goes,
Tanya.
hey,
Tanya.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he goes, hey, do you want to fight Chris at the Honda Center? And I go, yes, I'll fight her because I know Perillo comes from LA Boxing too.
Yeah.
So we've all known each other. Chris, I've known her for many years. We all know each other, and so they knew that I was interested in that fight. Tito knew too because he was on her team, and I told him, I said, I hadn't fought in like 5 years or 6 years at this point. And I go, I'll fight her. I go, give me a fucking fight. Like, give me a... And he goes, well, Erin, I don't know if I'm going to keep the 145. And I was like, shit. Well, I could have made a lot of money on that fight. I could have made a shit ton of money. But it was my legacy. I wanted to make sure I was in a good position, my healthiest, my most lucid. I wanted to be the best Erin that I could beat if I would go in and fight someone like her because she's awesome.
She's world class.
And
I mean, she trains with Clarissa Shields, right? Yeah.
They kind of train. I mean, they know each other. They trained like once or twice or something. But
she can.
I take all opponents seriously, and again, there's levels. But I mean, yes, I was offered that fight.
You think Chris could do well in boxing?
I think she could do okay. I think she'd be fine. I think they're trying to get a fight with Racquel.
In boxing?
Cecilia Brækhus, if you know who she is. So I think she could do okay. If she starts just like in anything, it's like the boxers who want to do MMA start at a certain level and then boom. And Chris is a great athlete. So I think with the right team and the right people, I think she could do really well.
You know? And I guess like, because this was a question I kind of had, just because I'm not as familiar with the boxing world, especially the female boxing world, but I heard like, so there's been some rumors of, and you obviously fought Laila Ali, of her coming out and like challenging Clarissa Shields.
I know.
Like, yeah, what would you...
It's a great time to be in combat sports in the year 2020. I don't want to
what do I think between those two? Who would win?
Just like a little quick breakdown. Because you obviously fought like Laila.
Well, I think in Layla's prime, she would beat Shields in her prime. And I'm cool with Shields too. This is all whatever. It's like, this is my breakdown of it. I think in the little bit that I saw about Ali when she was saying, she's like, hey, first of all, you know, I'm a mom now, I'm doing this, and she would probably need a good 6 months of training to like, he's getting them all in.
I was about to say number 3.
That's okay.
This is my last day, okay?
Okay, take them hard. I'm on my now.
Guys. Right.
And then I'm going hard, like cold turkey, plant-based diet.
I think, plant-based diet.
Yep. We'll get into that later.
I think if Laila came back and did like she said, she goes, it would take me 6 months, and it would. She'd have to train smart, train hard. I think she could beat Shields. You know, I think stylistically, I think Laila is a harder puncher than her. So if you look at Shields breaking it down, I don't know what she is now, 10-0, 11-0. But anyway, she has a 20% knockout rate, whereas Laila, when she was 24-0, was like 20, has an 80% knockout rate. So even if you look at both of them and they're both physically matched and
different styles for sure.
Well, they're both boxers, you know what I mean? Like, they're not brawlers, and they both have a great jab. I think Laila probably had the best jab in all women's boxing. But let's say if they're on the same level with that, and they're both, it's going to be power. So I think Laila, and the older you get, you actually hit, that's what they call old man strength. Like, you just start to hit harder and grab harder and things. So, you know.
Clarissa Shields is, I believe, 10-0 pro, but she's had 77 amateur fights.
Do you think that's going to happen with MMA? So there's an amateur MMA scene, more so out here on the West Coast, so Tough Enough in Vegas, and out here in California. Do you think amateur MMA is going to be like that, where you have like 100 amateur fights before you go to turn pro? Right now, a lot of people go 6-0, they'll have 6 fights. If they go 6-0, they'll go turn pro. I know like AJ went like 3 fights. AJ was destined to be.
Didn't the California bantamweights like state title winner just now who fought Rancho? He had like 16 or something.
He was from Black House, Christopher Cruz. I mean, he had a lot of fights, but he had a lot of L's. He's kind of like me.
Well,
he's kind of even now. He's 50-50.
In boxing,
I think he ended up like 8-8.
You have the potential to go to the Olympics. You know what I mean? And that's what people love. It's like MMA is not as.
Well, then there's headgear. Amateur boxing wear headgear. And
but I mean, when you say I'm a Team USA member, I'm a this. It's like that's a very
weight. It has weight to it.
Yeah, it has some pull to it, and it's very prestigious. And you worked really hard to get that, and you're fighting against other people who've been working since they were, MMA people get into it a little bit later, like we talk about, and then it's like, I'm the Tough Enough champ. So, no one cares about that. And you're fighting somebody else who had...
You're the best kid on the JV team.
That's right. Yeah. You're Division 5. I don't know. It's like...
I'm going to quote some fine-ass ladies.
That's just really how it is.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Oh, jeez. You know what I mean? But it's like, maybe MMA...
It's like being a JUCO wrestling...
there's all these people that show off.
Maybe they have the potential to go to the Olympics, which I think, like Duke Rufus, who I love, he's awesome. I don't know if it's him or someone. They're trying to get MMA to the Olympics, which is great. I think that's awesome, and I think maybe it could be.
Start college representative amateur MMA.
Very cool.
Oh yeah, college.
And they could
and it's more on the East Coast, luckily, where there's not too big of a scene, but it kind of like goes back to what we were saying, where they're taking former football players, former wrestlers.
Sure, because they're athletes.
Yeah.
They can, but this is the difference. It's like, that's kind of what disillusioned me with MMA for a while too, because you can't. There's no NHL, MLB, blah blah, all the top ones, right? NFL. There's not, maybe like a Brock Lesnar or something. He could just go, hey, I'm going to do a walk-on tryout. Okay, those guys, just like we do, we train our whole lives, okay? But what had disillusioned me about MMA was like, no, I'm going to have one amateur fight, and then I'm going to be the world champion. It's like there's supposed to be levels to this, and there aren't guys that you can't just walk onto the NFL team and be a pro and be like, I'm going to play for this team, right? You're special. They pick people, and that's what separates these people from these people, right? First place, second place, third place. Everyone's entitled now. Everyone thinks that they can be anything. Well, I don't know. I mean, in your mind, maybe you can. It doesn't mean you're going to excel in it, but that's the difference where it's like, I would like to see, and boxing has that too at the lower levels because they always need that. They need the journeyman, they need the hobbyists, people fucking around for fun, and that's okay. No, not everybody wants to be world champion, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they need to start having more standards and safety precautions or whatever. It just comes down to standards. Like, no one should just be able to walk in there and be like, hey, and then you're going against a guy who's trained their whole life. And it's almost insulting, where it's like, oh, okay, you can be world champ. All right. Okay.
And plus, too, like, it goes back to what we were saying. When every time, whether it's a cage, a ring, you step in there, you're putting your life on the line.
Absolutely.
You're putting your health on the line.
And it takes a lot of balls for any woman or man to get in there. And it's like, everyone, they have their own reasons for doing it. And it's, I respect everyone that goes in there. There's some people that have no business going in there. But it takes a lot of guts to get in there and do that.
All this stuff is a journey at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's what it really is.
Absolutely.
But you got to decide.
But that's what separates, when we talk about, it's like, not special. But I mean, it's like, that's what we talk about, like...
You can play a drinking game.
Like, even I'm in the military.
Yeah.
Guys who have this award and this award. Okay, and they're up there. But then there's some grunt who comes in there. Why don't I have that shit? Because you didn't work for it and you didn't put your life on the line. That's what we're trying to say,
It's kind of the difference. So what you're saying, I'm going to translate it in the military, it's like Spec Ops. So if you're Delta or Marine Raiders or Navy SEALs, we all seen Lone Survivor. Those kind of guys, like a Marcus Luttrell.
Sure.
Those guys are above and beyond the training.
Right.
You tell me to tread water for like an hour, I'm like,
right.
10 minutes at best, bro.
But it's like, that gives you kind of like an idea of what we're trying to say, where people who have spent
they're special for a reason.
Yeah. And they might not even, it's like, what is that? Like, hard work beats talent. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. All the people that are the best, they're not the most talented.
I think that goes on with social media, where people don't see what goes on behind the scenes. We post something, like, how did he get there? You don't see how he got there, or he or she got there.
The years of training, the sacrifice, the dedication,
It's also, it goes back to like, and I heard an interesting point. This was more of like something I heard on like the Flagrant 2 podcast, but it was like talking about Floyd and how like Floyd kind of created this like the money Floyd, which is pretty good Floyd. The money Floyd was all, you see all the promos, all the cool boxing events, all the where he gets all the media and everything. What you don't see is when his dad just locks him up and he's like, okay, let's have 8 fresh guys just murder him.
Yes, that's a good point.
You don't see stuff like that.
No,
that's not glamorized. Like nobody, that's not as cool to see Floyd getting the shit beat out of him in training.
And I think MMA is drifting. We've already kind of seen that, where you got prodigies starting out from day one.
Sure.
Like, my dad was the best, so I'm going to be the best. You're going to see that.
Sure. And then you have the people who are vicariously living through their kids, and you have that in every sport too. And I've trained people like that, where their parent is on the sideline. The parent is they're not even a has-been, there never was. They could never even get to where this kid is trying to get.
Shout out to my future kids, I won't do that to you.
They're living, right? They're pushing,
Sorry.
living vicariously through their kids and trying to make them into something that...
You see that in all sports.
And that's in all sports. On the sideline, you have to kick them off the bleachers because... And the parents like that destroy kids.
You just kill their career.
You kill them.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's why Lomachenko is such like a standout at Khabib, like because their bond with their father is so strong that it almost makes them like a stronger person in a way. But that's just
Dad put him in ballroom dancing or working on footwork. That's such a great story.
Boxing is dancing.
For women upcoming fighters, what was your biggest advice to give them?
So we touched on this, right?
Yeah,
when I came in. So any women that are thinking about coming into the sport or combat sports, any male-dominated industry, don't shit where you eat. Okay? So like in layman's terms, right? It's like there's maybe one woman and there's 20 guys, right?
Yeah.
There's
and they're
7.
All the males.
Is there a camera to look in? It's like there's almost 8
look into my eye.
people in the world. You don't have to have sex with the people that you train with, right? You can like go down the street and find 7 billion other people. And I understand it's the bonds and we create bonds.
The
and
family, but then it gets weird.
Okay. And I'll tell you why,
like 7 million people to fight, that's 7 million people.
Hey man, you know what I mean? It's true. It's like just try. Men are men. They're going to always be looking. There's nothing wrong with that. And women, you can look too. But if you want to be taken seriously, and let me reiterate this, it's like, yes, I train men. I do a lot of other things. But I have a good reputation. I'm well respected because I didn't do that. Mm-hmm. Any of the guys that I ended up doing that, I either married them or I had like a long-term relationship, and this is like in 20 years I can count on one hand.
It's funny you say this too, because yesterday was the first time there was a married couple on the same card. The De La Rosas, we saw Montana win, and her husband lost.
Yeah, and that's awesome. On that Bellator card too, weren't they married, right?
Jason King and Emily King.
And I love, and she.
Wow, I didn't know about that.
And perfect example of a boxer who thinks they can come in and be a world champion, and it was like she gets tapped out, and I was like, there we go. There's levels. So going back to that, it's like try your best to keep it separate, and it's like
There's been plenty of like relationships we saw with Misha Tate and Brian Canway. They're not together anymore.
But they were together. They had a relationship,
Brandon Shaw, Ronda Rousey, or
a little bit, and then now Travis Browning.
Cyborg and it's like, but these are they're married.
You're so connected. You guys have the same nickname.
They were married, or they have a long, and there's nothing. You can't stop if it's going to happen. It's going to happen, and you don't know that. You could meet the love of your life training here, and that's awesome. But for the most part, that's not what happens.
Yeah,
and
just the workplace.
I would say 80% failure.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna crash and burn.
Yeah,
and then you get bad tensions. You're probably gonna separate.
And then
gyms.
you ruin. I've seen teams get ruined. I mean, Eric Paulson, I trained with him for years,
CSW.
and for a long time, I was the only girl that could train there. I was the only woman who let train there because he knew I came in there as an athlete. He had a no female rule because they came in. I know, but this is
back
years
then.
ago.
Now it's Ben Jones, and I believe Jacob Rosales, their main guy.
Yeah.
Him and Curtis.
Yeah, but
his girlfriend trains there at Landry, and she's an amateur.
But she's probably she trains.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm talking about the girls who came in there.
She's a fucking savage, just like
for 15 years. Like, I know all those guys really well. And they knew that when I came in there, I'd come to beat the guys up. I'd come to train.
Hey, Josh. Fuck you, Barnett. Just like
But I mean, it's like I was an athlete. Yeah. And they took me seriously and they respected me. And that's just, And so trust me, when you leave the gym, they're gonna be talking about you. And better have it be that, she's tough and she can throw down than I'm trying to.
Yeah. Or I remember we all fucked.
Yeah.
That happens, and it's a sexist world we live in. Especially, it's a masculine world in combat sports. We'd already put that in the box.
It's just how it is. It's just how it is.
Yeah, there's so much hormones. There's so much everything.
In the accounting office, it's the same way.
Yeah.
Just don't screw around with people you work with. Okay?
That's a good down to earth comparison to people. Okay, now they know the accounting
office. Just jeez,
it's like anything. It's even the same thing as if you go to a normal weightlifting gym. Like most girls, the girl who's sitting there focused and is purposely trying to avoid eye contact, guys. That's not the girl you go after.
She's peacocking in the gym.
The one that's looking at you, the one that's bending over, and
let's stay out of Youngblood's personal name. But still, it's still at the end of the day, there's workplaces. It's still
there's a time and a place, and
It's the same thing as like you're not in the middle of mitts and you don't like bullshit with your buddy. You know, you're working, you're focused. So, you know, that's an important point.
Yeah.
And then kind of before we get off it, because me and Philo got a little way too excited over it, but speaking of opportunities, acting opportunities and things that led into, you got to be on the the 2008 version of American Gladiators as Steel.
Yes.
So let's get into that. Like, how did that come about and what was that like? Because I grew up, like, I didn't grow up, but like, I remember watching that show and loving it. Like, it was like
what American Ninja Warriors is
what
kind of
American Ninja Warriors is now.
So obviously, you know, they had the original in the 80s when I was a kid, and everybody, it was like, you know, WWE, Hulk Hogan was big, that was big.
Yeah. The showmanship part.
Yeah, it was fun, entertaining.
That's why they gave you an alias.
Yeah. So
the persona.
We grew up watching
wrestling style, like, you know, promotion of it.
Yeah, it was fun.
People will probably, like, when they see you on the street, like, hey, what's up, Steel? Like, my name's Erin.
Yeah. I have people who do that sometimes. And it's not fun. It's like, okay. But, you know, when I was fighting, when I was, when I'm 20, I was 27, 28 or something at that time. No, I was 30 because this is
2008.
Yeah, so I'm like 30, 31 or whatever. But my career is going very well. I was getting a lot of like fitness modeling jobs. There's a lot of stuff that I turned down because I didn't really like that. Yeah. There's probably more opportunities that I could have gone, but I was very like, even for wrestling, I could have, like, for WWE, I could have...
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm a fighter. I want to be a fighter, you know? And that's what I wanted to focus on. But it was an awesome opportunity. I got asked to try out for the first season because they did the one before that. And when I heard the concept, I thought it was really stupid. Right? So I ate a lot of crow because when it came out, I was like, that looks pretty cool. But they had, you know, it was mostly fitness people that were in it, right? And then they wanted one
it was like way
fighter.
before CrossFit.
And then that's how they ended up getting Gina. And then, you know, Laila was on the show.
Oh, Gina Carano was on it too.
Yeah, so Gina, they picked
you
her.
and Gina are pretty much the OGs.
Yeah. And then they did a second season, and they specifically asked for me to come back. And I had to go through a very long, laborious, like, interview, like, and it was with NBC, so it was like the contracts were like this, and you know, it was awesome. They hired me, and it was probably one of the most amazing things I've ever gotten to do. So, you know,
what are some of your favorite memories for like just being on set and shooting, or like some competition?
The camaraderie, you know what I mean?
With the cast members,
like the cast members and hanging out with, you know, we got paid a lot of money to just beat people up.
Just average Joe people.
It was
average.
And they were athletes too, but like we're better than you. We're gonna smash you. But what an amazing opportunity, you know. We all lived up in, you know.
You get to do like the foam sword battle, knocking them off.
So we all did like specific stuff that we were good at. So you know, I did like powerball.
It was usually contact sports.
Yes, anything like that. And I did like, you know, strength stuff. And I was too big to like run up the wall. Those were the smaller girls. That stuff's hard.
Yeah.
Rock climbing.
Acrobatics and gymnastics, like, because I've been getting a little bit into it. Like, I used to do gymnastics when I was younger. Mm-hmm. One of the hardest sports to ever do.
That's so hard.
I'm doing a muscle up on the rings. Oh my
god.
The wear and tear on your joints from acrobatics is a different.
You see that a lot in the gym. It's like Caitlin Ohashi, all those girls, and they start those girls out young. Actually, that's like, oh my god, being a girl in gymnastics.
Like Olympic gymnasts and everything from 2 to 3 years old.
Yeah,
some of them retire at like 12 or 18 because they get so beat up.
Because they're maxed out.
And then those parents are like, oh yes, you could have been.
Yeah, but when you've been doing that for 50, you know.
Kayla Ohashi, the one from UCLA, she was pretty much done until the coach reached out to her like, hey, we still got something, and she did that beautiful routine.
Yeah, I remember
like my sister, she's very like similar, like bigger,
I watch that shit all the time.
build to you.
Yeah.
She did competitive cheerleading throughout high school.
That's
to this
gnarly
day,
too.
she still has
Yes.
fused disc,
I believe
torn
that.
ACL, messed up knee, messed up this. Her spine is completely destroyed.
Cheer is so dangerous. I think
Cheer
it's like more people die from cheer every year than like almost a lot of other sports.
Yeah. And what they're like MMA fighters where they just play through the injury. Like you see a girl with a knee brace, she probably more than likely, I can guarantee you, has a torn ACL, MCL, and her knee's probably ripped up. Like, some of those you see.
Like Kamaru Usman has no knees.
I remember the worst injury I ever heard was like a girl, I wasn't there, but there was like another person I was talking to, and she was a dancer, but she was like, this girl was mid-performance, and her kneecap literally busted off and then fell down to her shin. Like,
Well, that's why the guys in the NFL, you get someone like Brady who's like, that's an exception to the rule. He's my age. But most guys are done by 27,
He's also 28. A quarterback, too, compared to like a running back.
When you're 28, your knees
and
are
the new rules
out.
now because of Aaron Rodgers. I'm a Packers fan, by the way.
I am
She
too.
said.
I am too.
Yeah, she said.
I'm a suffering.
You changed the rules, like, now the quarterbacks are like a diamond preserve.
Yeah.
I mean, they've never been really full around athletes compared to a running back or wide receivers or a defensive end.
Right.
Their skill set.
Yeah.
They throw the ball.
Yeah, my ex-boyfriend played for UCLA. He played D-line, and he's 34, but I mean, he was 30 at the time, and he already had like microfraction surgery. His knees were blown out, and all his friends from UCLA.
But he could probably run like a...
Yeah, right. He could.
240.
I'd be like, big guy.
Yeah,
but anyway, I mean, young, and their knees are blown out because they've been playing their whole life.
Yeah, my buddy, he used to play like O-line and D-line back in high school. Was a decent prospect, like had some like different things, but he had some concussions and was dealing with CTE and the depression and all the ups and downs. He said, I can't keep doing this. Like, I'm not meant to be 280 pounds.
Yes, that's what they say.
He was like an inch or two shorter than me, 280, and he said, dude, I would walk up the stairs, my knees would be feeling in pain, and I'd be running out of breath.
Body's not meant to be. And he used to be like 290 when he played for UCLA. He's like 240 now. He goes,
what's the nutrition?
I wasn't meant to be 300 pounds.
Yeah, the nutrition that they tell him, I think, is insane. Because my buddy's high school coaches, they told him for every 1 pound they have for every 1 pound that they weigh, they should have 1 gram of protein.
Yeah, that's
to supplement that.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that is insane.
Been like that for a while.
Like,
sounds miserable.
That doesn't make any sense.
Sounds like the plant-based diet I'm about to go on for a week. Or actually, it's not really.
You'll be fine. I'm plant-based.
I know.
You'll live.
I mean, it's just, it's not so much the plant-based, it's the calorie intake, so I'm going from 165 to 145. Yeah.
You'll figure it out.
I always do. And we're back. We're going to start back off with that plant-based diet. So dieting.
Yeah.
And weight cutting.
And weight cutting in general. So I go from 165 to 145. Generally, when I'm in training and I'm not, I'm eating whatever I want, 65 down to 45. When I'm not doing anything and I'm just being a piece of shit, which rarely happens, but it has happened. Usually after a big loss, I'm just crying, 175.
Yeah.
Which is what Max Holloway, the 45 champ, is doing.
That's pretty normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's normal.
I've heard of guys like, I heard like Khabib and Usman, they'll go from like 200 to like 170 or 155. Apparently Khabib was doing like 200 to 155. That's why he was having troubles with weight cutting. Insane.
Yeah, because you can only, you can sustain that stuff for so long, and we're human. It's like, I keep in pretty good shape most of the time, but there are times, 5 pounds heavier, and I know what to do to get me back, but sometimes I don't feel like doing that. Yeah. And your body, sometimes you're just
you have to have a motivation.
Yeah.
I get motivated when I get a name. So like right now they're like, oh yeah, we'll get you a fight around this time, and then they gave me a name. Oh, you're gonna fight so and so. I'm like, when you have a name, like when you can make a face,
when you have a goal.
Then it's game time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a goal you're trying to work towards.
Because otherwise, when you don't have a name, there's like, oh yeah, I'll fight maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but working towards something that you don't even know if it's there.
Yeah. But to make the weight for the most part, and a lot of athletes are doing it, it's the plant-based diet. To cut a lot of calories, you need to go plant-based. And a lot of people, so we've talked about the Game Changers documentary. James Wilk, I know him because one of my teammates is trained with him.
Yeah.
And he was on Joe Rogan.
I heard
they
that.
bashed him, and he came on and he defended. He did so well.
He did really
and I've always been. I know you're vegan by ethical reasons.
Correct.
But there's always been like a backlash to it,
Yeah.
But he defended it so well, and there's all these misconceptions. So like, first one, and I've known this for a while, protein. They're like, oh, where are you gonna get that protein from? Actually, you get more protein in vegetables, broccoli. You can get a fuck ton if you eat enough.
Oh, yeah.
Nuts.
Yeah.
So people just think meat is protein. Wrong. And then him on the podcast defended the vitamin B.
Yeah.
So apparently, I thought...
Even I don't know.
I thought...
Some of that I don't know.
I was like, okay, you have to take vitamin B supplements when you're not eating meat. But you don't even really get that from meat. I guess vitamin B comes from the soil or something, and animals just somehow get it.
Right.
But it's not even natural to animals. So.
Correct.
And it was just, he defended his stance, and really, if you're going to cut calories and just...
We had facts, but the thing what people don't understand is, like, I won't go into all that as much, but cows are, let's say if you're eating red meat, cows, what are 80 to 90% of the animals fed in animal agriculture?
Grass.
No.
That's special shit. You pay extra for that.
Which is what they're
the
supposed to
shitty,
eat.
horrible meat industry, yes.
Soy, corn, grain. Okay.
Mostly grain.
So cows aren't meant to eat. They're plant-based.
These are shitty cows we're eating.
Well, it's sad. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's like, I stopped eating for another reason. But people go, oh, but I'm eating meat and you need... Okay, dummy. Unless you're killing, even when they say plant-based or it's grass-fed, did you see it?
Yeah.
Did you see it being killed? Do you know? At least I know.
You gotta know where your products are coming from.
It's like, I'd rather have Joe Rogan do what he does. I don't support hunting. I don't need to eat it, but I'm not going to bash the motherfucker. Like, at least he's killing it himself. I have friends that hunt. I don't like it, but...
It's better than the meat industry.
Yeah, I'd rather have them do that, and then it's quick. They know...
And it's on your conscience.
Yeah, and then where the animal is coming from, and it's like, you know that it's healthy. So all of the animals that are coming in through factory farming, people don't understand this. There's no...
The system's been corrupt since 1900.
But there's no standards on it. Like, they can eat
There was a book called The
anything.
Jungle by Upton Sinclair. He's a senator in California. He's a socialist, but the only thing they took away from the book from Teddy Roosevelt was how corrupt the meat industry was. Because in the book, they're killing pregnant cows, which you're not supposed to do. They're like...
They do it all.
They're still doing it now today. They're spraying over rotten meat, making it look good.
Do you think that animals don't get cancer?
Yeah.
Do you think that animals don't get tumors?
They're just killing all these.
All they do is, and do you think it's efficient? They're going to send fucking 5,000 cows to get a cancer.
We're probably going to get bashed on the comments. Like,
no, we won't, because...
But fuck you, transparency.
Yeah, fuck you, transparency. But this is,
we're speaking truth.
It makes sense. So this is what I started doing my due diligence when I went, okay, it's ethical reason. I didn't like how they were being killed, but I went, okay, let me read into this more. Why does this make sense? Now I go down the rabbit hole, and it's my own, So all I do is, yes, I share videos and stuff, but I just share information and then let somebody, it's like Socratic method. It's like you do your own research. You come to your own conclusions. All somebody can do is present the evidence. And then it's that person where they go, okay. And then there's people they'll eat meat the rest of their lives. That's fine. I don't care. I care, but it's like, at least know where your food is coming from. So it's like so like the factory farming industry as well, they have contracts with, Twix, Mars, all this stuff. So where do you, when candy doesn't go somewhere, they sell it to the factory farms. They eat shit, they eat candy, they eat, you're eating that. That's all we're saying. It's like, if you're going to eat the meat, do it yourself. Kill it yourself. Do what Joe Rogan does. But
urban farming. Urban. So you have your own chicken coop, your own eggs.
It's like, just understand where your food is coming from, and then people wonder why they get sick. It's because you're eating what they're eating. You're eating that.
You got to be really just careful with just any processing.
Whatever. Unless you're off the grid, and it's like, I'm sure, I eat stuff too. But I don't know. I just do the best I can.
What would your advice be, somebody like me who's a young broke college student? How do you...
the ramen noodle diet? What?
Whatever you're doing, I'm gonna have to just keep doing it. Okay, you'll be okay. But
when it comes to just cutting weight, if you're in a sport that cuts weight,
I think that works. Yeah, I think plant-based, and then I have a lot of friends, and then they go back to eating meat.
Do you use a food scale at all?
I do when I'm cutting.
Yeah.
If I have to.
I still eat a little bit of meat because I want a little bit. So I do 6 ounces of chicken, and I'll do 14 ounces of veggies.
Right.
And then quinoa. Quinoa is so beautiful. I'm so glad I came across that.
Yeah.
I eat a lot of oatmeal.
Yeah. But I'm pretty simple, even when I'm off diet, it's like I'll cheat now and then, but I just eat to live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I eat to be able to perform.
And there's a lot of top fucking OGs that do it. So like the Diaz brothers, the whole Scrap Pack camp up north, Jake Shields. I talked to Jake Shields when I went to a seminar of jiu-jitsu, and he's like, when I'm out of camp, I'll eat a bean, cheese. He's vegetarian, so he's bean, cheese, and egg burrito. That's about it. Otherwise, he's always been vegetarian.
Yeah, pretty simple. It's pretty easy. I don't know.
What about AJ Guerrero? Because he looks pretty big, but
I don't know, because he's a new addition to the Scrap Pack, so I don't know if he's ever been a vegetarian or vegan. They're all, I don't know about Gilbert's probably still eats meat, but the Diaz brothers, I think they'll eat shrimp, there was like they did an Anderson Cooper or something for like CNN. They did an interview or something. They took him to this bomb ass place in Stockton for like shrimp, and that's like all they eat. But otherwise, those guys are ultra marathon runners, triathletes.
A lot of the top athletes right now are,
vegan, or vegetarian.
Djokovic, and then that Lewis Hamilton, that NASCAR driver. There's a bunch of people that are. So I don't know. It could be a coincidence, but it's like
Cam Newton too.
Yeah, but there's something to be said about it. So it might work for you, it might not.
Doesn't Blake Builder go vegan during his fight camps?
Who?
I believe so. Oh, well, my teammate of mine, he's 3-0 right now. He's the next Phenom. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how he makes 145. But he's like kind of guy that too. He's like his energy. He's that guy.
Yeah.
That just energy.
Yes.
But great dude. Shout out to him.
He's like, you see his Instagram post. Yeah, I just did a 48-hour fast. No, I'm set to go.
Oh God.
With my ACD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be like convincing me to just do some crazy shit sometimes. Like the other morning, I like watch his videos.
All those people that are like.
Yeah, I'm like, let me get up at 8 in the morning while it's freezing ass cold. I see only have
I'm not that person. I need the hype person. I'm not the hype. I'm the hype man when I'm the coach. I can hype anyone to do anything, but
I'm an amplifier. I need somebody to stoke the fire, and I'll make it bigger.
And then you'll make it bigger. Yeah. But I need to.
But I'm not the one to start it.
No.
I need a spark, but then I'll make that shit big. I'll throw the kindle on.
But I'll do it. I'm a team player, so.
Going back to those important coaches, you got to find somebody that just
absolutely. And do your research, touching on that really quick. It's like, when people ask me questions, I go, Google is your friend. Okay? Yes. It's not 1999 where if I wanted to...
Make sure you have reliable sources.
It's not 1999 where if I needed a videotape of somebody, it was a VHS. And you had to order it from the back of Black Belt magazine and to pray to God that there would be some footage on somebody.
Good stuff. That's how a lot of jiu-jitsu guys, they found they're getting VHS tapes.
Yeah.
The Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's how it is.
Now, though,
oh, it is.
Techniques and moves.
Right.
Before I started training jiu-jitsu,
look it up. If you hear something about a gym, look on your phone.
Those little computers we'll hop around with every day now?
Use your little fingers and, you can find your information.
There's so much promos for every gym out there nowadays, too. Like, even our gym has so much content about it out there.
But
with social media ads.
A long time, too, So.
2007. We'll touch on some current events real quick, so we get them out of the way.
Before we get into that, we have a specific thing Erin wanted to get into.
Want to get that first? Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, so...
It's a very important issue of today.
So throw me a question, then.
So obviously, when you look at your Wikipedia, there's certain discrepancies within your career where you should have had some just
10 fights.
Yeah,
it's like a hiatus.
It's like that was my vacation for a vacation.
Yeah. There's a good amount of pullouts due to injuries, but not specified.
But not specific injuries. Yeah. So. Like I said, I'm glad we're speaking about this because I always try to talk on this topic, especially when I'm interviewing, and that's why I'm transparent. It's like if I'm going to do an interview,
transparent as fuck.
When I'm going to do an interview, I'm real, so I'm authentic. The person you see, this is me. I'm not a different person when I fucking go to the gym and then I'm hanging out with people. It's like, this is me.
You have multiple personalities, just the one personality.
Well, no, I'm a woman, so I probably have a few personalities. It's like when I'm an athlete and I'm very logical and I grind. Like I take my job very seriously.
Trust me, we can tell, the viewers can tell.
Yeah, Erin Toughill's my personal Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. But when you look at my Wikipedia, because I have had people ask me over X amount of years, this is like, starting in 2009, 2010. So I was signed to Strike Force. And at that time it was like the 5th or 6th highest paying contract, male or female. And I moved out to Las Vegas at this time, and that was when I was training at Extreme Couture. I was married to Neil Melanson, and that's when everyone was fighting and coming out of that gym. So, Ray and everybody was there. And I signed this contract knowing that I had a pain pill addiction, because I did. I had an injury that was a few years before that.
Any specific terms of pills, like oxycodone?
Yeah, so it was like 2000. So if you look like 2006, it was probably like the end of 2006 is when I started using. I had a legitimate injury. Someone suplexed me, and so at that time, of course, like they do now, they always
put you on pills.
Give you pills. Well, I'm like, okay, so between 2004 and 2006, I had my trauma, right, which doing the pills helped me cope. So, and that's on my Wikipedia too. Like 2004, my sister died in a car accident. A year later, my dad died from cancer. I went through a horrible divorce, the first guy I married. It was a 3-year period. All during that time, I never stopped fighting. And that just because I'm like, I'm not feeling shit. I don't feel anything. And just, And I kept fighting. I fought, 7 times, like in 6 months, right? So you can look and see where and I was winning all my fights, knocking people out. And then the last one was like Laila, and she beat me. And then some of the other fights that I had during that time, if they were overseas or wherever, they're not testing. You know what I mean? They're not doing drug tests. I was a clean athlete my whole career. I never did steroids. I fought a lot of people that did, but I was a pain pill addict. And so once those were introduced to me and I was going through all my trauma, it was like, this is great. This is great because I didn't really feel a lot anyway, but I have these, in some ways. But I have these moments, like I share my story as well because I'm not the only person that has lost people, brother or sister. But when it fucking sucks regardless. It's a life-changing experience. And it was either like I wanted to kill myself because I felt responsible for how my sister died. It was drinking and driving. I took so much guilt. It's survivor's guilt, right? And I took that and then it was like, so I pushed it away I never stopped training. I think I did her funeral. It was like a week off and then I just was on for years.
Probably used training as a substitute.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when I got the injury and then the pills came in and I was like, oh, now I really feel nothing.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, which a lot of people can.
When you get an injury and you stop training, like, well, that was my therapy for a while, so it's my new therapy. And you go to
and now you're high, and then it's like, okay, now everything is...
And it's probably something you never tried before. So like Brett Favre did the same thing with Vicodin. It's something new that you never, like, oh, wow, this is...
Yes, I always had addiction problems. Like, that's how I just...
Well, most people are addicted.
Yeah,
We're
to
addicted.
something, but so going back to that, and it's like, blah, 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 fast forward, and several years later, I'm taking 30 Norco a day. Those 10 over 325. So it's like, I started with, it's like,
you keep upping the dosage.
Yes, because at that point, you're not getting high anymore. It's to function. I've done a lot of different drugs and stuff in my life, and I can tell you getting off that was like, I've never been through anything like that. And that's why everyone's dying from it, or they go to heroin because that stuff is so expensive. I knew if I started doing that, I was like, I'm going to die. And I got caught, thank God, and blah, blah, blah. But so all during that time, when I'm pulling out of this fight and this fight and this fight, I knew they were going to drug test me. My husband knew what was going on with me, and he covered my ass, protected me, wouldn't let anyone say anything about me. He's like, you want to talk about a teammate? Like, we went through some shit, right? And really, going back to ego, and I was so concerned about what people are going to think of me, and really what I should have done is put myself in rehab. But I was too concerned about what people thought. And this is when we talk about ego, where it's like, now I don't care. When I say I don't care, it's like, I don't care what people think about me. Yeah. And that was just, I'm glad I'm the freest I've ever been. Because,
transparency is the best.
It's the best because I don't have anything weighing on me, and I'm not worried about, they think this or think that. And even though I always achieve very high, we're very concerned with what our peers think, and that's just how our ego is. So I pulled out all those fights because I would have never passed the drug test. And then the last fight that I got, which was on that Indian reservation, oh my God, I was so fucked up. I knew that they were not testing, which is why I took that fight. And I go, if I pull out of this one, my career is over. It was over. It was already, you know what I mean? But this is why we have people on the outside telling you what you can't see. And I'm at the point where it's like, my liver shutting down, I'm pissing blood. I'm like, and I'm starting to drink on him at the end too. And so I tried to go in. This is before they started checking DEA records at this time, thank God, like 2010, 2011. So I was doctor shopping. I was taking like 650 Norco a month, okay? I had like 8 doctors on my thing. And
finally got red flagged.
Yeah, and so I went in and I actually had a legitimate injury. My ribs were broke from sparring, and I go in and I have a legitimate injury, and I'm like, I need drugs. And she goes, she'd given me drugs before. And then she comes back and she pulled my record, and she goes, she could have called the cops on me because it's a federal offense. I mean, my life would have been ruined. I would have gone to prison, and thank God. But she just goes, do you have a problem? And oh my God, it was like I had been, anyone who's been an addict.
The truck just hit you right there.
Just boom, but it is such a rat race. You can't go anywhere, plan anything, do anything. Do I have enough pills? I have for 3 days, but I'm staying for 4 days. What am I going to do, right? You're in bondage. And when you're taking, 30 a day, 35 a day, there's nothing else that matters. Your marriage doesn't matter. Your family doesn't matter. Your fucking career doesn't matter. You don't care. You have to get high or you can't get out of bed, I mean, I destroyed my business. It's like, thank God I was able to rebuild everything, but...
Second chances. I do kind of...
Thank you. I think every day
I used to be a hater, like, no, there are no second chances, you fuck up, but then I'm like, I got older, I'm like, oh no, you can't turn it around.
Of course you can, and it's like...
And those are the greatest stories.
They're pretty rad, and we're here to share with other people. My story is like many other people's. When I talk about this, it's not like, oh, I went through. I think you can see that pretty clearly. Yeah. It's like I'm sure because maybe one person who's struggling with the same thing will understand and go, "There's help for me too."
Yep.
So that's what we want to, and then that's why I retired because I had to get help, and and I'm just glad to be here.
And now we're going to fight Taylor Harrison at the PFL.
Be able to share my story,
And
yes.
Now Caleb about to catch these hands.
I'm so excited.
Well, yeah,
when you said that was a possibility, I'm like...
Anything's possible if we manifest it. I've worked hard enough, and I deserve it.
That's an athlete's mentality, and I love that.
I make this shit happen.
The resume speaks for itself.
Yeah,
Come on,
I make it happen.
Like I'm seriously about to before this interview.
We're about to slide your DMs every time I ask for advice. I'm like, God damn these guys.
Yeah.
You can I mean, whatever. It's like I love giving back to it. I mean, that's why I love my sport, and
I love those figures too. Those longtime gurus that I went through the shit too. And
man, we all got a story, and it's like whatever my reality, everybody's level is different, and it's like I can't discount what they might have not been through what I have or you have, but it's like we all feel it the same, and you can never dismiss anyone's. That's what I've learned with age too, because I'm like, oh, I've been through some shit. Well, we all have, and we deal with it the best that we can, and go ahead.
Kind of goes back to not judging other people's struggles, but just,
man,
you see how
easier said than done. Because I'm still a judgmental motherfucker. You know what I mean? And then, but it's all in good. I have a really dark humor, and I have
most fighters do actually.
Yeah. Most
you should see our group chat at the gym.
People who've been through shit, who've seen shit.
They can laugh at some dark shit.
Gotta be able.
You gotta have a sense of humor.
I'd be a rich man for every time I bring up our group chat out in public. Now I'm like, I should know that. I'll get in there and Mark post something like, oh no.
Yeah. But I want to fight Kayla, so I think that would be an awesome fight with PFL, and make it a super fight,
Yeah. I feel like that would too, with just the comeback coming off.
Styles make fights, and I can beat her. With all due respect, I respect her team. I don't talk shit like I used to because I don't care. It's like I'm very confident in who I am.
Yeah.
But I feel that I could beat her, and I think it would be a fun fight.
I think that would be a really fun story.
I'm excited for that fight. Make it
happen.
Great. God damn it.
We'll see.
We'll cover some quick recap for the last 2 weeks. So last weekend we had some controversy. Before I get into that with the judging, we'll give some notable. We had Chaos Williams. Did you see that fight against Williams?
Oh man, that was awesome. That was so awesome.
They found him in Michigan. He was wild as shit. He reminds me of Houston Alexander. It was just straight on. It was like thug shit. It was not even like disciplined fighting.
No, he just came in. I'm gonna take your head off.
So that was a good honorable mention. Batista at MMA Lab versus Johns, who was way bigger, but Batista would just skill outmatched him. We saw the greatest. The fight of the night actually was the women's fight, Murphy versus Lee.
I heard that was good.
Lauren Murphy was also
that was awesome. That was
is a recovering addict in her past, and now she's a coming up story.
Good for see, I mean.
And I think she won that fight. People have argued that was also bad judging too, like the UL Martinez fight, and we'll talk about the Jones Reyes.
I don't know Lee either, and I've seen her fight a bunch of times. I'm not really a fan of hers. I don't think
she just got out of the bad because she married her coach, and apparently he was like there was abuse, domestic violence, and shit. So she just got out of that. We gotta talk about Krause though.
Oh, the balls.
Beach-sized plums took the fight on a day's notice. Bryce Krause versus Giles on middleweight.
I did see that.
Welterweight versus middleweight. So Krause actually fought at lightweight.
Who won?
Giles did, but it was super close.
It was a good
but then
fight.
again, back to bad judging. People were like, that one could have went either way on the bad judging.
And look how you talk about like it's
the mugshot.
Then you don't have to. 1 day's notice. You're like, okay, I go fight.
He was there cornering because he's a great quarterman coach.
Yes.
They're like, hey, you want to fight this middleweight, jump up a weight class? And Giles is pretty good out of Texas, and the guy's home neighborhood,
and
Texas.
he probably got paid well. You know, I mean,
he's a company man.
Give him a payday.
And the UFC like the company man if you say yes.
Give the man a payday.
When you're a yes man, you get paid well.
That's right.
Krause is a vet too. Like
he's good.
He goes back all the way to WEC days.
Yeah.
He's been fighting for a
I may have
long
fought him
time.
a card with him. Well, because I used to train. I used to be, Rob McCullough.
Yeah.
I was his boxing coach. So I cornered him with, Tiki and those guys. But I feel like he was probably one of those cards back then.
Yeah. He did really well.
Or James, sorry. Did I say Bryce? I meant James.
Bryce, yeah.
I meant James.
I know Bryce.
Bryce is up north. He's at RPCA.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I got the two. They kind of look similar too, Bryce and James.
I think like Sacramento, you're saying like Costa Mesa. I know
To
like,
me.
I know Bryce well. He's really cool.
Sorry, James Krause. But shout out to Bryce too. He's a cool dude. They kind of look similar too, actually. James is out of Missouri. He's out of Fight Factory too. Okay. He trains out of a lot of places. We'll just skip right to the co-main. Yeah. Shevchenko Chukagian. Blondie fighter, she's really good about not getting hit. And you've seen her highlights, but... Shevchenko.
I just want to say, how does Valentina Shevchenko spinning wheel kick Vaseline off the top of somebody?
She's that good.
She's taller than
she's
her.
awesome.
But you notice she was getting frustrated in the striking. So that's why she eventually took it to the ground. And that's how she finished her with a crucifix TKO.
Yeah,
that's how she finished her season.
Yeah. Otherwise, Chukagian's really... She's got like a point style. She was karate. That's her background. So she's hard to get hit.
Okay.
If you look at her highlight, it's her to be in the Matrix.
Because I've seen her fight a few times, and I think she's...
Shevchenko's...
She's a grinder.
Yeah.
I mean...
Shevchenko's Muay Thai, fight for a while.
Yeah.
And she's the real deal. Moving on to the Joan Reyes, more controversy. I gave it 3-2 Reyes. And I think he should have the belt. And they could rematch it.
Are they going to run it back?
They might, but last night, we'll get into that. Blachowicz just knocked out Corey Anderson, and now he's a contender.
Yeah.
So.
Because that guy...
I think they should...
The Corey Anderson guy, he knocked out Walker?
Johnny Walker.
Right? And then he kind of...
Skyrocketed.
I saw
so if they don't rematch that, they should do Reyes or Blachowicz.
There's levels to this.
Yeah.
There's levels.
But you know what the sad part is? I really wish I would have given him the belt because there was going to be a rematch no matter what. And John Jones in the rematch is 100% kill rate.
Yeah.
As DC, as Drew Gustafsson.
That's
so
true.
I think him and his camp are going to game plan like they always. They're going to...
Because he played football, right? Reyes?
Yep, he's an athlete. That's what he said in the interviews. I'm an athlete. He's never fought an athlete before. I'm going to judge spot many athletes, so I don't
Football,
care.
baseball, track and field, and wrestling.
So yeah, judging needs to get fixed, especially in Texas. So Texas Commission, fix yourselves, and maybe more fighters should be more judges. And
That's right. You were talking about that. I like that too. So I'm seeing more.
Well, there's Ricardo Almeida went into judging, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but like more of the refs around here, like Frank Trigg, my friend Adrian Jenkins,
they've
right?
refereed some fights.
Yeah, so now the fighters are coming into ref, which I like. I think that's awesome.
Unless they get a better feel for when somebody's really out or just like flash knockdown, because I feel like unless you felt that, it's just so hard to tell.
Anything else?
I feel like on that stoppage notice too, I've already hinted this, but I feel like they should ask the fighters, like, hey, because there's the Frankie Edgar stoppage, like Frankie Edgar, Ray Maynard, where they're like, dude, stop the fight.
Yes.
But he comes back and wins it. So I think you should ask the fighter, and most fighters during a title fight, they'll probably say, don't stop it. But
They're going to say, don't stop it.
But in a regular fight, I think there'd be some fighters who'd be like, okay, yeah, just do your job and let the premature ones go. Like,
you can see who wants an out.
Yeah.
You can see who wants an out. Somebody will do something. They don't need to get asked.
Yeah.
They'll give themselves an out if they want to quit.
This weekend we had the first, like we said, married couple. Mark, he lost the fight versus that Pava guy. That guy is crazy. Also, this was in Rio Rancho. It was right next to Albuquerque, so it was high elevation. I didn't think about that.
Oh, okay.
So I saw that was the death of Cain Velasquez versus.
Yeah, I remember.
We're doomed down in Mexico City elevation. So I will never probably fight in elevation. If you do, you have to stay out there 3 months prior and train there.
Absolutely.
But you saw that with the Macy Chichon fight, and it wasn't Nika Matano. She dropped out.
That one.
Macy won.
Okay.
She eventually took it to the ground, but that girl was game.
She was good too.
Any other notes? Jim Miller, Scott Holton was a good one. Kesey Kenny just got
John Dodson taken out now.
Oh, that check left hook, and yet again this weekend, Ryan Garcia in boxing, check left hook, laser left hook.
I saw the highlight.
That was basically that. He hit it 3 times, and the third time he charmed.
Yeah.
But it was crazy. John Johnson, same thing, check left hook on Nathaniel Wood, who I thought was going to be the next phenom of 135. Because everybody talked about Darren Till, but I think Arnold Allen at 145 and Wood at 135. I thought it was kind of premature. Yeah, like he got rocked. But like Dotson did the Johnson East real quick. He basically jacked off his face with the quick punches for the TKO. While Wood was still building a base trying to get up to his feet. He was on all fours.
That's right.
Did you see the Wood? Like, I love Wood's walkouts where he's just telling his coach, like, slap me, one more.
Yeah, wait, what were you saying? That was the one that did it? He was already knocked out.
He was pre-rocked. Yeah.
We saw a nice KO victory, sub victory by Daniel Rodriguez after he hit Means. The shot was nice.
Yeah.
Venata Medeiros was pretty good. Venata was doing the point sparring.
Yeah, Venata, like, really makes effective use of, like,
hands down,
dropping his hands,
stance
like,
changes.
making you play his game.
He's an OG striker. If you want to watch a fight, watch him and Tony Ferguson get down. That was a great fight. Yeah, we talked about Ray Borg missing weight 2 pounds, but then he dominates.
How does he miss weight and then just destroy his opponents? Like is it like a motivation thing or something? But like
maybe
even the last time he missed weight, he fucked that guy up. Like, and then he like that first round, he was like you could tell like.
Well, I just don't think it's fair. Like even when you do those catch weights like that, like no, you read on that weight, so like. When you win
the
like
most unprofessional thing you can do is miss weight.
Yep.
By the way, and there's a couple of these girls that have been doing that lately, and it's like, yes, we have periods. Yes, we have all this stuff. And it's like,
oh yes, I always bring that up in the podcast.
It's true.
Because I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, but sorry, you have to take into consideration, and you have to take that into account. So if you're a professional and you sign in 29 pro fights, I've never missed weight, and I got all the way down to 145 at one point, and I actually had to weigh in again because I was like a pound over. And I did it. But who's that over there? Cynthia? Ugh.
She did it not too long ago.
Like 5 times. 4 times or something. And then there was some other little girl who did it.
And then recently was Grasso. Alexia Grasso.
Yes.
And she was so good. I love her boxing.
We talked about
that was the first time, but that's bumping up.
1 pound, 2 pounds. 5 fucking pounds. That is the most disrespectful thing you can do. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear your excuses. No one cares if you're going through marital troubles. No one cares. Trust me, we've all had that stuff. It's a job. You know, people pay to see a fight.
We saw 2 illegal knees. Brock Weaver gets the win. He even said so himself. He just counts the win. Let's run it back. I think if all these illegal knees on a down opponent keep adding, they might just eventually legalize it. We're going pride rules.
Let's bring that.
1FC
soccer kicks to the face.
No, 1FC, like, they allow it.
Yeah. But not here, not over here.
Not in this continent.
It's dangerous.
Apparently, I heard Montana's going to legalize left Y. I think I've said that a few times, so damn. You know, left Y, the bare knuckle Muay Thai, and headbutts. You can headbutt a motherfucker.
There's a revival. The only way to win is knockouts.
Oh, yeah, they can. Yes. So you get knocked out, they can wake you up and you can still keep fighting.
They'll bite your ear, they'll slap you.
What the fuck is that, right? You're like, nah.
I mean, I was like, if they just want more deaths, then they'll have shit like that. So
but it started out in Burma, like Myanmar, so that's where it's from. And they brawl out there. Montana won.
Yeah, because they're trying to do it for their family. They're getting paid $1, which is like a
so like that. What is it?
Right.
What's the thing on Netflix with Frank Grillo? It was called
Fight World.
Fight World. Yep. They did Muay Thai and they did left Y.
They did left Y. That one was awesome.
That fucked me up when they did one on Muay Thai and the kid lost and his coach just berated him after the fight. Like, you think you're a big baller, bitch? And just berate him. Like, if my coach did it after me at the fight, I'd be like, fuck, where's the noose at?
Yeah.
Shit, that's the worst time to berate someone.
The kid's like 15 too. Like, he was a young
Yes.
young kid. Like, why do you?
I'm like, damn, Thailand's fucking brutal. brutal.
Because they're fighting to support their families.
Yeah.
True.
You know, it's like third world countries.
Yeah.
It's not like here.
That Diego Sanchez Pereira fight was something of this world. It was actually kind of a good approach by Diego to be fighting all weird, but I think he's back on some sort of shit. He's not with Jackson's anymore. I mean, he's crazy. We talked about this, but I think he went back to
I am a game changer. I fought in all these weight.
I'm just gonna say because Pereira style is crazy, like flipping, spitting, somersaulting kicks, and Diego kind of did that with him.
Shit like that.
But it was kind of like watching cocaine versus LSD. Like the fight. It's the whole front. If you watch the fight,
cocaine versus LSD.
Like when he said that, I was just like, "What? Real love?"
Dude, the fight. If you watch it, you're like, "Who the fuck?" And Diego's antics, the whole fight was. You got saved by that knee, and he got the W.
Display, so.
Yeah. Like I said, I think he's on something. And then Corey Anderson gets knocked out by John Blachowicz, and now he's in title contention. And that was pretty much it for boxing. We had Ryan Garcia with that check left hook. I'm gonna shout out real quick to LXF for some future moments. We got some great upcoming fights.
Since you're probably like the best, most well-known boxing person of all of us, since we're pretty soon going to probably have boxing's essential Super Bowl and Deontay Wilder versus Fury 2, you could give us a little quick breakdown of that.
Shit. I was at the first one too.
Oh my God! What was that like seeing Tyson get dropped and get up?
Oh my God!
Like the Undertaker.
The place went ballistic. So the guy my old coach, he worked for PBC, and so last year it was really cool because I was going to all of them, like all the fights, So it was really neat. I was at the Spence and Garcia one in Texas. I got to see some pretty awesome ones last year, but I think Wilder is going to win again. Mm-hmm. He had a hard time with him. He was slipping everything. Fury is very athletic for his fucking fat, and he can move. But I think he knows what to do this time, and this is called the eraser. You know what I mean? That guy has almost 100% knockout
We saw
rate.
with the Luis Ortiz fight where it was like blind him with the jab in the hand.
Look, it doesn't matter if the guy's beat you. It just takes that. And the same thing with Ortiz.
He doesn't go out there to win the rounds. He goes out there to knock you out.
He wants to knock you out.
And that's why he has a high finish rate. I think it's like 100,
it's almost 100%.
Yeah,
It's 99.
it was Fury in another fight.
Okay, so Wilder will probably win with a knockout, and he's going to look.
America.
He's looking for it sooner. So
Alabama.
Roll Tide.
Dude, his fucking background too, how he got into boxing was crazy.
Oh man, probably.
But that's an exciting one, so I'm excited to see that next week. And then you were asking shout outs. Let's see. If anyone wants to follow me on Instagram, it's Erin, ERIN.fights, FIGHTS. I have some information on there. I'm a boxing coach, so I'm the only female really in this area, Orange County, even LA and like Riverside, that has the background that I do, and I train a lot of guys. I train
Kay Hansen too.
Yes.
I like Kay.
I love Kay.
She's up in San Fernando now with her boyfriend Keith Corian, but yeah, you were there for her amateur career, and now she's killing it in Victa.
I know. I took her to like 6-0 in USA Boxing. She never boxed before. I met her at Paulson's a couple years ago, and but if shout out for anyone who's looking for training. I train fighters, but mostly kids, and anyone who's looking for that in Costa Mesa. And then keep on the lookout for one of the fighters that I help. Her name is Chelsea Anderson. She's 3-0 right now, and she's supposed to fight the end of March at a 360 show, which is at the Avalon in LA. The girl pulled out, but we're hoping for June. So I don't know if you want information on me, come check me out. So
I guess
we have a Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
That means you're the real OG. And then Bobby's Boxing. Shout out to Bobby's Boxing.
Yeah, Bobby's Boxing, who's my coach, and he is anyone who's in Laguna Beach. You guys can train down there. We talk about camaraderie. We have a really great group of people. We have great fighters and just regular people. We have fun. We're awesome.
And at Raw Talent this Saturday, because Chewy, my coach, is just like, hey, come on by. That's why my coach is awesome, because he doesn't care.
Sure.
So we can talk about styles, like in certain gyms and boxing is super old school. So if you're not a Philly shell guy, you can't train here. We only train Philly shell. If you're not a Mexican style guy, we don't want you. And then also, they want you to start young. So if you come in older, they're like, usually, nah.
You're washed up if you're 25 and you're starting boxing.
Yeah.
It's like, but MMA you can start.
Chewy's like, I don't give a fuck. Oh, you're an MMA fighter?
Yeah.
Come in.
He's cool. He's good people.
So this March 13th, Friday the 13th, bum bum bum. We're going to have LXF 5. My boy Jeff Miller is going to fight. I got iFlop, Krasinski.
Revenge him.
Avenge me! Last two is really close to this guy. He's a really cool guy, though. I respect both of them.
Avenge me.
But my teammate's going to come on top. I'm biased, of course. We got Ron Skolsdane out of Yokoyama versus CMMA Alfuro. That should be a good one at bantamweight. Skolsdane's been LXS for a while. Before LXF, Lights Out Promotion, it was California Extreme Fighting. Thank you, Sean Merriman, for throwing money back in the sport.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have the heavyweight fight, Blake Troop versus Quintero. I got Troop, but then again, I'm kind of biased. I know the guy. And we have the rematch of Ryan Lilly out of Bass Root MMA and Muscle Farm versus Black House's Albert Morales. That should be a great fight. It's a rematch. The first fight was great. It was really close. They gave it to Morales for the belt. So this is for the belt again. Heavyweight fight yet again for the belt. We also have the 818 bad boy, Brian.
Oh God, how many? Is this all on the same card?
Yes, they're really good.
Okay.
This is a stacked card.
I'm
I'm just going over the main ones that stick out to me. We got Brian Rosario at 155 versus DeMarcus Brown, 2 veteran sport. And I talked to Rosario, and man, he's like, I predicted first round finishes. That dude's a bad motherfucker if you watch his fights. He goes in, he's a striking phenom. So that'll be a good matchup. And that's it. Right. We got bare knuckle boxing. I think brutal Johnny Bedford's going to start calling out more people. Yeah. Bare knuckle boxing, what do you think about that?
I'd do it. They just don't have a 54 right now because I talked to one of the guys a couple times and I'm like, put me in there. I'm like,
you had to find some other boss ass motherfucker to come find you.
But
a lot of people probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
And like, bare knuckle box. Hey, you want a bare knuckle box? Erin Toughill? And you're like, no.
Yeah, the one lady who's ranked 5th in the world at both.
It's so interesting because MMA fighters are kind of doing well because the boxing glove defense. Paul Jolly realized that, like, oh fuck, these don't block everything.
I am on Rancho, yeah.
And then the fact that you grab the back of the head and make it like bar, so it's kind of different. But I think the boxers would just do better if they just jab more, stay on the outside.
I want to see Bedford versus Artem Lobov because they already started.
They're talking about that one. That's the next one in the future.
So bad.
Since what was it? Hick Diaz, what's his name? Oh, I'm forgetting it.
Oh, Jason Knight.
Jason Knight. Maybe those.
Well, good. I'm glad we.
Yep.